Okay, everybody. Happy Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. Lucy's buying tacos for everybody today. Lucy and Mom, hi, be safe out there. So, hope everybody read my post, what I typed in the box there for today. And the weather's kind of yucky, muggy, and so not much going on, but a lot of intel. I know yesterday, I keep saying one show. Oh boy. But we don't hear it on the real news. We don't hear it on the real one. So Melania is wearing a brown hat. Lucy, she's dressed up for being a princess, I think, right? Is that what that is? She's covered her face, like kind of. I'm gonna start right at the top of the hour. 4 minutes. So I don't know what we do this. I figured if I find it, I'll read it. I found this prayer thing there on Telegram. I'll read out the first thing. All right, I know everybody's working, and hopefully they get to listen. See how many we get in chat. Oh yeah, we'll go ahead and start that. Okay, good. No trouble on Telegram. So here's the Tuesday prayer that I found there. Almighty Father, thank you for this day. Help me stay faithful even in small things. Teach me to speak gently and act with kindness when challenges come. Give me courage to face them. Remove any fear or doubt from my heart. Let me walk through this day knowing you are guiding me. Help me keep a calm mind and not be easy troubled by a small problem. Amen. Came across that there. All right, so yeah, we got a 2 hour Nell today from last night's Q&A that she had, Boz. And I got an hour and a half other one I found on Rumble and a bunch of other stuff. But I'm going to start off with the small videos. I got a few 5-minute ones from the Fox News, Cash and Dan Bon Jovi, and then some other short ones and stuff. I got a 3-part clip on Jeffries on his remarks. So we'll see what the first short one will be here. All right. Got the X2 report. So we will start with this one.
Joining us now is Cash, former deputy FBI director and also former Secret Service himself. Our friend Dan Bongino is with us. Dan, I have nothing, as you know, nothing but the utmost respect for guys. We saw this on Saturday night.
What happened?
They race to where the trouble is. They're willing to take a bullet for the president and all the cabinet officials. Those guys on the ground, I don't have enough praise for what they do. However, when you look at the 3 instances that I've been discussing, be it Butler, be it Trump International, or be it on Saturday night, there seems to be a lack of sweeping, securing after you sweep, and the perimeter did not seem big enough. And this seems to be a common trait in all 3 examples. I'm not being critical. I'm just being analytical here. And something in my mind has to change. I know when I go, and you've been to RNC conventions and DNC conventions, you know, sometimes you're a half mile and you've got 3 stops before you can even think about getting in the building. That was not the case Saturday night, not the case in Butler, not the case at Trump International.
Yeah, Sean, I think with the pretty thorough after action review that's going to happen on this, I think that's going to be one of the things Secret Service and Director Kern's going to have to analyze going forward. Here's the problem, and I tried to describe it earlier in the day to some folks about expanding the perimeter. And I agree with you that we're going to have to do that middle perimeter. If you envision the inner box within a box as everyone within kind of arm's reach of the president, meaning you can go up to bike rack and shake his hand and a rope line, you may be on the stage with him. The middle perimeter you see is the magnetometer checkpoint. The outer perimeter is where you're doing general surveillance, but everyone's still dirty, meaning they could have a weapon or a knife. They haven't passed the mag yet. Envision those 3 areas. The problem that I see immediately with the event here was there may have been a compressed middle perimeter here. And the issue you have is envision the middle perimeter like a big, huge fishbowl. You just start piling people in. You know, you can see people inside the fishbowl. It's glass, just like you can see through the magnetometer. However, there's a barrier in between you, that magnetometer, correct? And the more people you pile inside the fishbowl require assets to sweep them before they go in the fishbowl clean. Magnetometer assets, you know, you have to bring the mags, you have to staff them with uniform division folks. The Secret Service is going to need, in my humble opinion, a major resource plus up. They just do. They're struggling for personnel like a lot of federal agencies on the law enforcement side are. They're just struggling for folks right now. And I think it's just a manpower issue. But I agree, we have to fix it. This is a zero fail mission.
Is there anything you disagree with that? You have to move the perimeter out. In this case, I would move it probably even outside the hotel. The idea that not every crevice and corner of that hotel was not swept is startling to me, meaning guests could walk in, have guns with them, nobody would know. They come down the elevator, they're in the lobby, and we saw what happened in that moment.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm just giving explanations. I'm not making excuses for anybody. There'll be an after action review. They'll get all the details on this. I'm just telling you, like, the way this works and the reason they think they didn't do this, and it turned out in this case to not have ended very well with this guy storming the magnetometer checkpoint, is whatever you are going to sweep, you have to post first and then you have to hold. So to sweep an entire hotel with 1,100 rooms, again, folks, it's just an explanation. You do with it what you will. You have to hold that. You can't just sweep it and walk away. I think you kind of alluded to that earlier in the show. I was listening. Once I sweep a floor in a hotel, you can't just sweep it and walk away. Someone could just, yeah, all right, if you don't hold it, you just wasted your time. And given the fact that the Secret Service is dealing with pretty dramatic manpower constraints right now, I think they're kind of just, robbing Peter to pay Paul a little bit, and they're trying to get by with a president who's very accessible. I mean, Sean, the president is out there. He's not going to stop traveling. He's not afraid. He's going to go out there and shake hands. He's not scared of any of this stuff. And that accessibility comes with a trade-off. Okay. Hey, I got to address one thing, though.
Yeah,
go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I want to ask
you addressed earlier Hakeem Jeffries talking about this civility thing. Listen, Hakeem, we're not asking for civility, guy. We're just asking that your Democrats just stop trying to shoot President Trump, okay? We're not, forget civility. We don't give a damn if you're nice and if you write respectfully at the end of your emails. Just please stop trying to shoot the president. Like, can we just agree on that, Mr. Jeffries? I'm sorry. I just had to address. I was a little annoyed when I heard that.
You're always free to go on as long as you want. We don't care. We always love what you say. If we're going to sweep, secure, and hold, as you say, and we don't have the manpower. It's 1,100 rooms. I don't know what the capacity of that hotel is. Okay, let's say that's all true. They don't have the manpower. Doesn't that mean then the decision has to be made? The event can't be held there.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of decisions that are going to have to be altered in the future when it comes to, I mean, listen, this is the most threatened man on earth. Can we just all agree at this point? There's no close second here either. The man has survived multiple attempts on his life, and there's probably others out there that were stopped and mitigated we don't even know about. However, he is going to travel. He's just not afraid. He's not. He's going to go out there and he's going to do his thing. He's going to go out and give rallies, and he's going to go out there in the midterms. They are going to need a lot of help. They're going to need private sector help as well. I'd like to see what the hotel, I'm not indicting the hotel. I have not seen what the hotel did. I'm sure they had security. However, we're going to need some help from private sector partners that if we do an event at your place, you may have to bring in a couple days in advance some private sector folks to give a little bit of an extra eyeball. Extra eyeballs can't possibly hurt. They can only help.
Yeah, I did speak with him when he was in the whole room only a couple of minutes after this all went down, and he was fighting to go back out. He wanted to go back out.
Sean, he's not fazed by any of this. No, I talked to him like a day after he was shot in the ear, and he mentioned it for like 10 seconds and moved on like nothing had even happened. He is not afraid of this stuff at all. So we better get the Secret Service the resources to be able to secure his life.
All right. By the way, Dan Bongino will be on my podcast. We drop it tomorrow morning, 10 Eastern. Just type in hanging out with me, Sean Hannity. We spent a lot of time.
Hey, that was a good clip there from Dan there. Speaking of Jeffries, I got 3 clips from TikTok lady there. I think it's this one. New lady on TikTok I haven't seen.
To voters across the country that Donald Trump poses an existential threat to democracy, that he is a fascist, and that they compare him to Hitler. I mean, these are despicable statements that the American people have been consuming for years. And so many mentally perturbed individuals are led to believe these words are truth and then are inspired to act on it. I have a whole host of examples that we can share with you after. It is pages and pages of major Democrat Party elected officials saying, such as Rep. Hakeem Jeffries just this month said, "We are in an era of maximum warfare everywhere all the time." Governor Josh Shapiro said heads need to roll within the administration. Senator Alex Padilla said people are, quote, dying because of fear and terror caused by the Trump administration. Senator Elizabeth Warren, President Trump is making the country look like a, quote, fascist state. Senator Adam Schiff saying President Trump using a dictator playbook. Senator Ed Markey calling President Trump a dictator, saying that this administration's actions are authoritarianism on steroids.
So Caroline Leavitt is going after Democrats, calling out their, quote, despicable rhetoric after the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting. I'm sorry, what? If we're going to talk about who's fueling violent, hateful rhetoric in this country, look no further than your boss. So if we want to talk about rhetoric, I thought we should take a look at some of the words that Donald Trump has used to describe the left and Democrats. And these are just some examples of the words that he's used to describe them. Scum, terrorists, vermin, radical, lunatics, demonic, evil, fascists, Marxists, communists, garbage, the enemy of the people, the enemy within, treasonous, and lowlives. And it doesn't stop there with Donald Trump. This is the same man who made fun of Paul Pelosi for being attacked by a guy with a hammer. Or what about when he mocked the death of Rob Reiner and his wife when they were murdered by their son? Or what about when he praised the death of Robert Mueller? Or what about when he accused Democratic lawmakers of seditious behavior punishable by death, all because they told the military to refuse illegal orders?
He's pretty good.
There was that video that he posted
You
of
want
him
to
dumping
talk
literal
there?
shit on his political opponents. Nobody's words matter more than the president's, and the man with the biggest megaphone in the world consistently vilifies his opponents, downplays violence against them, and even celebrates their deaths. But let's be clear, Democrats are not responsible for what happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, nor are they responsible for any attack against the president. Criticizing the president is not inciting violence. It's a basic right in this country. And so we can condemn violence, of course, but still continue to call out Donald Trump and what he's doing to this country every single day.
The entire Democrat Party has made their pitch to voters across.
The first one there.
Is that the so-called White House press secretary, who's a disgrace, she's a stone cold liar, had the nerve to stand up there and read talking points being critical of statements all taken out of context that Democrats have made, and didn't have a word to say about anything that MAGA extremists have said or done, including providing aid and comfort to violent insurrectionists here at this Capitol on January 6th, who brutally beat police officers. The president then pardoned those violent rioters, many of whom have gone back into communities across the country to reoffend. And as you pointed out, one of whom threatened to kill me. He said, kill the terrorist. Where did that language come from? What Republicans use that language? Why did that pardon MAGA extremists, violent insurrectionists, choose to use the language of terrorism directed at me when he threatened to kill me at an event? And so how can we take them seriously when they raise these partisan attacks and completely ignore the fact that a lot of folks, including Governor Shapiro, his home was attacked by an arsonist when he and his kids and wife were there. And this so-called White House press secretary wants to lecture America and lecture us about civility. Get lost, clean up your own house before you have anything to say to us about the language that we use. I think that what's interesting to me, as you point.
Okay, one more.
Everywhere all the time in your tweet after the Virginia election. So I want you to respond to that. And from a macro perspective, if you can, what are you advising your members to do about rhetoric right now that you can criticize the president without facing GOP criticism?
Political violence in any form directed at anyone, whether that's the right, the left, or the center is unacceptable. Period. Full stop. The notion that any of us are concerned with so-called criticism from these phony Republicans as it relates to anything that has been said, certainly as it relates to the comment related to maximum warfare everywhere, all the time, in connection with the redistricting battle that Republicans launched. I stand by it. You can continue to criticize me for it. I don't give a damn about your criticism. First of all, that phrase, maximum warfare, everywhere, all the time, came from the White House in the summer of 2025, when they started this redistricting battle. And now they're big mad. Why? Because Democrats have decided to finish it. Get lost.
Republicans continue to hit you over saying maximum warfare everywhere all the time in your tweet after the Virginia election. So I want you to respond to that. And from a macro perspective, if you can, what are you advising your members to do about rhetoric right now that you criticize the president without being faced?
Okay, so that's the lecture on Jeffrey there. Not many people in chat.
Jack Posobiec is a Turning Point USA contributor and a former Navy intelligence officer. Ren McEachern is a former FBI supervisory special agent, and Doug Burns rejoins us. He is a former federal prosecutor. But I'd like to start with you, Jack, because we understand there is breaking news out of Minnesota right now. Tell us what you're hearing.
Well, thanks so much. Earlier this morning, I received information from federal law enforcement that today, this morning in Minnesota, multiple of the 22 daycare centers or purported daycare centers are now being raided by the FBI and agents of HSI, that's Homeland Security investigators, in connection with fraud cases. We're told that this is not, over at Human Events, we're being told that this is not connected to immigration, but in many cases, there is information involving information from Homeland Security as well, so that those raids are being conducted as we speak. This is information I actually received last night, but wanted to hold on to it as the investigations and the raids had not yet begun.
Jack, just a quick follow-up. Does this feel like, it feels almost like accountability is starting to happen, something we didn't really see a lot of in the first 15 months of the new administration, but with the Southern Poverty Law Center indictment, 11-count indictment last week, now this, and that was the big question with Pam Bondi. When are we going to see arrests? When are we going to see a lot of the treatment that the Biden administration and his Department of Justice had no problem putting conservatives through during the 4 years that he was in office? Does it feel like that is finally starting to happen?
It does feel like that, and we're seeing Todd Blanche hit the ground running. I mean, he's still acting attorney general, and we'll see if he drops the acting title sometime here, but it does seem that as soon as he's been in, boom, we've got very quickly indictments on the Southern Poverty Law Center. Now we're seeing him move quickly on these search warrants, these raids across Minnesota. And so he is absolutely picking up the ball and running with it downfield.
And a note on this, apparently state law enforcement, local law enforcement are also working with the federal agents on this. And as you recall, since 2021, they've had 92 people already charged with these COVID era, fraud cases, and they've had well over 60 convictions. And so this is really a big extension of that. And as you said, a refocus on finding out how the government's money, our tax money, has been just, frittered away.
Finally.
And taken by fraudsters.
Okay, update on that. Minnesota news. Five minutes.
Kimmel said this. Our First Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow.
Now, we're not going to police jokes, but Kimmel knows Trump's almost been assassinated twice. And after the third attempt this weekend, Melania's not laughing. Quote, his monologue about my family isn't comedy. His words are corrosive and deepens the political sickness within America. People like Kimmel shouldn't have the opportunity to enter our homes each evening to spread hate. It is time for ABC to take a stand. The First Lady said enough, and the White House backed her up.
Who in their right minds says a wife would be glowing over the potential murder of her beloved husband? And having experienced what I did with the First Lady on Saturday night, I can tell you that she was anything but that. This kind of rhetoric about the president, the First Lady, and his supporters is completely deranged, and it's unbelievable that the American people are consuming it night after night after night.
Now Trump wants to drop the hammer. Wow, Jimmy Kimmel, who is in no way funny, as attested to by his terrible television ratings, should be immediately fired by Disney and ABC. This is the same guy who tried to frame MAGA for Charlie Kirk's murder. That's what got him sidelined back in September. Kimmel's hiding behind ABC, knows the network will keep running cover for him. But when your script reads like a hit list, it's not a monologue. It's a liability. Sage Steele is the host of The Sage Steele Show. We used to work for ABC, Disney. Do you think they're going to do anything?
I would say it would shock me if they did based on history. I will say this, yes, almost 17 years, Jesse, working for the Walt Disney Company at ESPN, and they have a history of punishing free speech, but it depends on what the narrative is. For me, it was as simple as saying that I'm against the company mandating you to take a vaccine in order to keep your job while complying. Pulled me off the air, suspended me, took assignments, punishing me for just saying that while complying. Then you have Jimmy Kimmel, who not only mocks the death of Charlie Kirk, but continuously with the hateful rhetoric and now crossing the line, I believe, with what he said about Melania and Donald Trump the other day. So here's the thing. Will they? Who knows? Should they? Absolutely. Bob Iger is no longer the CEO of the Walt Disney Company. We know where he stood with his narratives. It was far, far, far left. Josh D'Amaro is the new CEO of the Walt Disney Company. He's been there for about 6 weeks. He has an opportunity now to reset, to say, you know what? Enough is enough. We as a network are not going to contribute to this hateful rhetoric. And he can drop the hammer now. Iger did it after Charlie Kirk, only after what? After affiliates came to him and threatened, basically. That's the only reason why Iger did it, and Jimmy was right back on the air. If you're Josh D'Amaro, this is your chance, not just to send a message to Jimmy Kimmel, but to all of the other talent, to the executives, and most importantly, to the American people to say, we are better than this. That was not a joke. It was much worse than that. Everybody knows it. It is time. And I hope the new CEO does it the right way.
Why do you think Kimmel keeps making jokes about assassinating Trump? I mean, he can joke about whatever he wants. There's a lot of material. But, you know, and about death, like of people getting shot or almost shot with Charlie. Like, why does he keep going there? Like, what do you think that's about? It's obviously not humor because it's not even that funny.
Right. My kids constantly remind me, Mom, stop. Jokes are supposed to be funny. They need to tell that to Jimmy Kimmel because back in the day, Jesse, he was. I actually remember I was on his show in 2014 when I was still at ESPN, and he was wonderful and he was kind, and certainly we thought differently, but he was different then. Something has taken over with him and many others, and it is dark. I don't want to say evil, but it is as dark as it gets to obsess the way he has over this president. It's one thing to hate him and to disagree with his policies, et cetera. It's another thing to continuously bring up death. Again, ABC, when is enough enough? Disney, you're supposed to be about children and families and promoting positive things. Jimmy Kimmel is the opposite of that. Take a stand. Like, help us recover from this. I'm not going to hold my breath, but wouldn't it be nice to see one network really take a stand for once?
Yeah, that would be interesting to see. And maybe we'll hear something about it tonight. We'll have to tune in after we watch Gutfeld. Sage Steele, good to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jesse.
Okay, Jesse Waters. Okay, we'll get that news guy on TikTok, and then we will do that big video.
It is April 27th, the year of our Lord, 2026, and this is EPEC, the news you need. And I'm your host, H.G. Gerner. We've been through quite a bit in the last 48 hours.
Play this one, guys,
with the correspondence
yesterday.
dinner, etc. But I want to show you something here that will maybe lighten the mood a little bit.
I don't think I played this one.
And I don't want to take away from what has happened with the war that's being waged on this country by the extreme Democrat Marxists in Congress, etc., around, and the Marxists around the world. But I want you to watch kind of the mindset here. There's a woman who's a congresswoman, Rosa DeLauro, and I'm going to show you this here in just a second. She's in committee talking about various other things, and Lee Zeldin, the secretary of the EPA, is trying to put up a defense of what he's trying to do. He's trying to get money, etc. He's basically, they're having a committee hearing, and Ms. DeLauro is talking about climate change and how it's being ignored and it's flooding our country and flooding our streets and et cetera, et cetera. And Mr. Zeldin says basically we just can't willy-nilly start getting creative with certain things. He says, I'm bound by certain laws, and she gets triggered. I want you to watch this. I'm just going to show you just for a minute, but I'll let you watch it. Stay with. All right, here we go. Hold on to your hats.
When climate change is flooding our streets, poisoning our air, driving up healthcare and disaster costs, how can the EPA justify abandoning that duty to protect Americans to appease polluters under the false flag of economic growth?
Following the law, Section 202 of the Clean Air Act, where does it say anything about fighting global climate change? Loper Bright, Supreme Court case, you familiar with it?
No,
I don't think I played
maybe
that.
others are not, but let me ask.
But that's really important. As a member of Congress, Loper Bright says that we as an agency don't have the authority to get creative. If Section 202 of the Clean Air
Big time.
No, but you don't have, excuse me, you do not have the right to say climate change does not exist, that it's a hoax, and that's where this administration
I
is
understand
coming
you're
from.
upset that you don't know what Loper Bright is. Do you know what the major policies doctrine is?
I'm upset because
You know what the major policies doctrine is?
You know, let me just
You're a
say
member
this
of
to you.
Congress. You should know.
Well, you're
Then she proceeds to, you got to watch this. Watch the whole thing. If you go to @A with a circle around it, EPA Lee Zeldin, he just posted this a couple of hours ago. Secretary of the EPA Lee Zeldin just posted this on his site at EPA Lee Zeldin on X. Basically, Miss Rosa DeLauro just gets spanked. Here's the thing I want to say. She gets triggered is what happens. And she has no argument. She said, we're not going to give you the money. You're wanting money, and et cetera. And starts just going off because she just got spanked big time. She has no idea what she's doing. And this is what Lee Zeldin is trying to tell her. He says, I just can't just willy-nilly start going, getting creative with the laws and the agency's, I guess what you might say, boundaries. I just can't start doing stuff that I would like to do based on a whim. I am bound by laws, he says. And more importantly, I want you to watch this. But the important thing that I think we can look at this is that this is indicative of the mindset. Many of the people in Congress just want to attack agencies or secretaries of the or members of the Trump's cabinet. And the climate, this is climate change, et cetera, that everybody knows is a bunch of BS that's trying to, it's part of the globalist agenda to put what's called, it is the globalist agenda for centralized government controls, a more modern, centralized system of government controls on the planet. That's what that's what climate change is all about. But more importantly, what's interesting about this is that, and poor Lee, I have, and he's my hero, I swear. This is for Lee, Mr. Zeldin. You can't win a debate with an artichoke. Congresswoman DeLauro is a plant. She's an artichoke with eyes. You'll never win with her. You could take her outside, show her that the sky is blue, and she would argue the point. It's a shame. This is what we're up against here on the Trump administration, the decent American, intelligent people here in America without an agenda. Conservatives like myself and conservatives around the country, and Donald Trump and his administration and his cabinet, we just want to preserve this country. That's all we want to do. The Marxist machine wants to take ownership of this country. That is their goal. If you go to preservingamerica.epac.com, you can watch all 4 of our documentaries for free. I outline what it is they're doing, this war that they're waging, and what their goal is. Their goal is to take ownership of this country. Clarence Thomas was just talking about this a few days ago. It's our responsibility to take ownership of this country, because if we do not, I mean, literally take ownership of this country is ours. We built it. My grandfather and my father and I built this country. People have built this country. They died to preserve and protect this country. This is our nation. These Marxists, these Delarios, these Hakeem Jeffries, they want to take ownership of this country. They want to take this nation and they want to turn it into their America. If you go to preservingamerica.epac.com, watch our documentaries. I explain it, and we show how these people, you're not gonna win with them. They're going to continue to wage the war, and there's only one way to defeat them. We must have a national dialogue to expose them. Exposure is to the light of truth and honesty is the best, I guess, remedy, is the best medicine. We will win this war, but we must have a national dialogue, because these Marxists aren't going to quit. Hakeem told us the other day, they're not going to let up. We will win this war. It's going to take some time, but it's our this is our nation. We must take the responsibility to preserve and protect it. That's why I started this organization.
Okay, that was from yesterday. I didn't see today's one yet. Okay, we only got 2 people in chat. I hope everybody's listening for Mel's video coming up. Have your beverage, everybody, and be a 2-hour one.
Yeah, crazy week, crazy times, good crazy. That seems to be the word for me today in all different ways. And so with further ado, I know we're on a time schedule and a lot of people have questions because, you know, you're the one to ask. You're the one who has the information and people feel safe with you. They trust you. They believe in you. And, you know, that's a good thing because pickings are pretty slim out there. Let me just tell you, pickings are slim. So go ahead and we'll get started. Thank you so much, Mel, for being here. We much appreciate it.
Excellent. No worries at all. It is exciting, very exciting times. And I just it's really good because I just had a very important call just a short moment ago. So we'll touch on that in just a moment, though. Just a quick reminder that Sizzling Sunday was a voice message. A lot of people were looking for the video. But we did talk a little bit about some massive updates in banking sectors. And as I said the other day, we're seeing it especially in countries such as South Africa. We're also seeing it in Australia as well. And they're actually talking, this is the news that we're actually even seeing in amongst all the news that you're seeing on your side of the fence as well, is that a lot of it's been repeat, wash and rinse. We've seen a lot of it before. But what's interesting in the banking sector is they're talking about new models or new platforms that the banks are now talking about. This is a sign of the times, and that gives me great confidence, because if they're coming out and telling you about the new models, this is what they were doing in the background during, of course, the whole COVID scamdemic pandemic. They were doing these upgrades to put us onto the quantum system. So it's great news that we're hearing things such as new community banking. Community banking, whoa. So let's have a think about the things back in 1996. So I'm going to give a little bit of a story here because I love giving you a bit of a background. In 1991, of course, we saw the Kuwaiti dinar be revalued. In 1996, there were some papers that were actually released regarding the revaluation of the valuation, so to speak. They released some papers to state that what they got wrong, what they need to improve if there was ever to be a revaluation again. This is out from the Kuwaiti dinar, and I think it was the 24th of March, 1991. 96, these papers came out, and this was when I started to really tune into, we often hear some people say, oh, this is similar to Kuwait. No, it's not. It's completely different to Kuwait. It really, truly is. They learnt from Kuwait. They realised that this was for the people, and hence why community banks become so, so important. In the big scheme of things, when we were actually introduced, well, I was introduced in 1996 to 1997, thereabouts, we talked about what was the understanding of humanitarian. Humanitarian was basically, they asked us to look after ourselves first, our families, and then our communities. And if you look at it from a different perspective, if you were to say, if everyone did that, then the world would be a much better place, wouldn't it? They weren't talking about big projects back in 96 and 97 when I was introduced to all of this. They were talking about implementing funds to look after yourself, to look after your family, and then look after your community. So please keep that in mind as we move forward, because, of course, then infiltrations came, then we saw created groups were created and all sorts of craziness. But to see the banks talking about community and things like that as well, where the money or the funds that they create go back into the community, this is very, very exciting. We did talk and touch about a lot about in our banking sector here in Australia, we talked about the tariffs. Now, just remember when tariffs were first introduced, they weren't taxes, they were just tariffs. It was an exchange of currency, basically, for doing trade deals. So that's just a reminder about tariffs. So we talked about housing affordability. These projects, and it's not taking away those who have dreams and goals of doing a humanitarian project regarding housing, but understand that the housing affordability is already in place as well. So they talk about housing affordability through the new banking structures. And this is where it gets very, very interesting, because now they class a small business turnover to be 10 to 15 million. It never used to be that high. So they class small businesses also much bigger than what they have ever done before as well. They're talking about out of the banking structure. This is really, really interesting, and I've often said during my time is that there's different funds or different pools of funds that were redirected during this time when we were implementing the quantum financial system. We often refer to them as, of course, the white hats. Now, these funds are starting to appear for the housing affordability and for small business funding and that as well. And one of the funds here in Australia was basically called the Natural Restruction Fund. Restruction. This is the restructure of course, as I said, the whole banking system for we, the people. So get very, very excited, although sometimes it's quite boring to listen to. These things are important in the aspects of where our mindsets are. They're talking about purging jobs. Of course, jobs will be relocated into different sectors. So we often thought there was times during this whole restructuring is that, oh, what happens to all the jobs?
Flowers.
Who's going to be our plumber? You're still going to have all of those, but they will have different instruments and different forms of plumbing, so to speak. We're talking about builders who are bricklayers will become robotic engineers. So a lot of things will be restructured during this time. It's not about losing jobs. It's about re-education and restructuring of those jobs to make life less physical on the body, so to speak, as well. We talked about this week, of course, the payment systems are changing. We're talking about business support, zero interest. Interest was part of that. Of course, that major corruption, so to speak. So we have talking about zero interest loans there as well. So with all of that being said, of course, they actually announced publicly, which was very, very interesting, about the projects, as I said, of them integrating the quantum system. This tells me, as I always say, that the job is now complete. If they are talking about the different types of networks and the Project Acadia, which of course, as I said, was the implementation of your quantum system, if they're making it public, it means it's already done. So get very excited. Based upon the fundamentals, things are looking exceptional. A little bit of news coming out, of course, they are at the round table, so to speak, talking about the agro checks and the Zim bonds and what have you. So clarity is coming through on that. Again, no actual release dates have been announced. So if anyone's out there announcing some kind of releases tomorrow, sit back, relax. That's not coming out on the tables at all. They're talking about finalising things like the agro checks, Zim bonds, and payout systems and things like that as well. So looking forward to all of that coming out. I don't expect anything until a little bit later this week. This is our first working day here back in Australia. So we'll be back on the boots on the ground tomorrow with Wacky Wednesday, and we'll hopefully have a little bit more of an update on the side of redemption and redeeming as well. So hopefully we get some more clarity out of that. We're talking also in the roundtable today with the banking side of things is that we're talking about the exchanges of some currencies are still not on our system yet. It is not an issue. They will peg it to, like I said, if you don't have Iraqi dinar in your country, but you do have Kuwaiti dinar, then that is going to be in beautiful technology, isn't it? Technology can be good sometimes, where they will peg it to those other dinars, and that's how you get paid out in those sectors as well. So do not panic when you hear stories of different types of forms of exchanges and what have you. So, of course, there has been in the rumour mill about making sure that you're linked up to dinar recaps and this, that, and all the rest of it. As I stated on Holly's show, it's not a necessary thing to have to do, if you so choose to, be wary that, of course, as I have said many times, that platform has changed. And I believe that there has been people who have been misguided on all of that, and if they're charging, asking for your credit card. So please be wary of all of those things as well. So with that all being said, that's the latest and greatest from my side of the table. But now it is all over to you, as this Q&A is for all of you to rattle away and get some much needed answers. Hopefully we can answer your questions. So if you'd like to unmute yourself, by all means, certainly ask away.
Now I have another housekeeping thing I'd like to bring up. Please do not be posting articles or anything else on the wall tonight. That's not what this is about. Please keep the posts. They have to be questions or something that Mel is talking about, because I will delete you from the channel. This is not that type of a channel. The wall is used for questions only. And please keep in mind 1 question per person so we can get everybody's question answered. Thank you.
Beautiful Mountaintop, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, Mel.
It's always good when I get a fresh face or a fresh voice. It's
and the surprise of a
magic.
fresh.
So welcome.
Okay, so I was so surprised that I got
There you
called so
go.
quick. I just want to say, Mel, I have followed you for quite some time, silently, just watching. But I just want to say, you're my plumb line. And I don't know if everyone knows what a plumb line is. That's level. You're my plumb line with all of it, from spiritual to political to everything. Yeah, I get it. I'm 70 years old. I've done it all. It just came on me when I was watching you, because this is the first time I've been able to catch your live. You're my plumb line. That's all I want to say. Thank you. And you know what? If you come back to the States, Mel, I so want to do something when things get going for you, because you've been my plumb line. Anyway, that's all. No question. Thank you.
Wow, that's a beautiful way to start the show. So thank you very much, sweetheart. And yeah, it is wonderful when, as I said, we've been in this long journey for a long time, some of us, and yeah, you are something very, very special. So yeah, thank you very much for that, sweetheart. So appreciate you.
Love you.
Much, so yeah, love you too. Love you too, sweetie. Thank you. Been a tough road, tough road, but we will certainly make sure that we do something together. L17, how are you?
I am well. How are you?
Excellent. We actually got to meet, so we had a blast of a day. We did. It was pretty cool. So
I'm gonna move you away from the financial.
What's been happening
piece.
on your side of the fence?
Oh, well, I'm traveling now. I'm actually was planning on traveling for the 250th celebration. So I'm camping in my camper van. So it's exciting. Yes. Anyway, especially if we go to lockdown, that will be interesting, but that's not. Anyway, here's my question. I want to ask a relationship question. So how do you think, or what do you think that the white hats are going to do to try to bring families back together? Because I still don't see a lot of that movement. And I've heard a lot of people say that same thing, that's not happening in their inner circle of families. So any encouragement on that front would be awesome.
Yeah, it's interesting. We touched on the children yesterday. I kind of hit the brick wall yesterday, but putting that aside, we did talk about the children and how that's going to play out. And children are one of those things that it's going to lag. And it's going to lag a little bit today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm hotspotting from someone else's phone. So, but yeah, look, we're talking about the children and how children keep families together. Quite often it's not about the actual relationship per se, but they do it for the children. So when it talks about how families come together, I think there's going to be this huge ascension process is going to reevaluate our relationships, especially husband-wives and things like that as well. How's it going to bring families back together? It brings families back together because we reevaluate. Oh, this is not about just currencies. This is about our spirituality, our relationships, who we are, and how we come together. So when we talk about reevaluate, it's also about relationships. Some may dissolve, who knows? That is people's choices. Some will grow stronger. We did see during the COVID scamdemic, that a lot of people struggled to actually live together. I'm still crying from the other one. Sorry, darling. So, people still struggled to live with their partners because they never spent that much time with their partners, or they never spent that much time with their children. And it was kind of like a forced.
Well, actually, it's 2 hours and 26 minutes, you guys. And we're into about 18 minutes right now.
Recognition. So how does that come about? Well, if you take away the stress that you didn't have to work, that you take away the stress that your bills are going to be paid, it certainly does lift. Mrs. C, you're just going to have to mute yourself. I'll get to you in a second, honey. Thanks, Doll. So what happens there is of course, as I said, as adjustments are made, then of course you take away all that stress. Then it rekindles that relationship as to, why you first came together was through lust and love. And I believe that it is part of the family. We just have to focus on the family. When the revaluation happens, some of us will connect with certain people, those who are not connected to anyone at the moment, then of course they will connect with people, as the universe connects them. But I do think it isn't one that's brought to everyone's attention. So L17, thank you for that. But please understand that, as I said, as ascension or density increases, the scroll will be rolled and you roll with the punches. And I think things will happen organically, the way they're meant to happen. Is it going to be all good, doom and gloom? I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's going to be positive. It's going to be strengthen those people who have been in relationships for a long time, and it's also going to strengthen those who are probably living on the edge of that relationship come together. There's many elements to it, but I think that in all seriousness, the fact that we are increasing our densities or ascension, depending on how people describe it, it's going to be family-based. It is going to be family-based because, children will be at home until they're 8 years of age instead of going to school. They will be not necessarily homeschooled, but living at home with their mums and their dads. And I think that's going to create a stronger family unit. It was always going to be about the children, but children are created through man and woman, and that is family. So yeah. So hopefully
can
that
I
will.
Just add one more thing? Would you change your answer if I should have said adult children? My kids are long grown, and I really want a better relationship with my grandchildren. And of course, until my children wake up, that's my biggest concern.
Oh, 100%. And again, once everything is revealed, they will reflect on that, not just on themselves, but on as being a grandmother. And it is about the children. Again, the children will bring you back together, won't they? But again, as I said, it has been a difficult road for a lot of us, and missing out on our grandchildren and our children, our adult children as well. But again, it is still relevant because, as I said, as things are released and revealed, then that will actually humble them in the sense to know that, oh, mum might not have been so crazy after all. I think it will naturally, organically come back. So I do wish that for everybody, because it has been tough, especially not being able to see grandchildren or being separated in that sense. But I think it will come back together, and I think it will happen organically. And as I said, you relieve some of the pain through whether it be a revaluation of frequencies or revaluation of currencies. I think it will all come back together as a family unit. So in what form, it may not be perfect, but I think organically it will come back into that form. So, but yeah, so. But Mankey, did you have a question? And then we'll go to Mrs. C, LG, then Gypsy Co. So Mankey, did you have a question? Otherwise, we'll go to Mrs. C.
Hello, Mel. No, I don't have a question. This is my first time on here, and I didn't know how it goes.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to say I enjoyed your call I think it was a couple of weeks ago. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for who you are.
That's quite all right. I just saw you popping up at the top, and I thought, well, did he want to ask a question? So, but it's very nice to see you and say hello. But I will definitely go to Mrs. C, because she's a very strong advocate for South Africa. And so Mrs. C, how are you?
Hi, Mel. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you, sweet. What news is coming out of South Africa? You got to give us the biggest news ever out of South Africa.
No, it's just how the banks are changing, and that also becoming like bigger, also communal banks and stuff like that. And there's so many as I said, I don't know whether you looked at any of the things. There's so many apprenticeships. And that's suddenly popping up in all different areas, in hospitals, in engineering, in technology, all of that, which is quite nice to see. So that's the most exciting thing, besides banks changing every now and again, but that's never happened here. Maybe in the old 1940s, 1950s, yes, people would take you on as an apprentice. But that's what's happening here. They would start in 2027, though.
That's correct.
So
yes.
They're taking applications now for 27.
Very interesting timing. Yeah. So. But before you ask your question, Mrs. C, it's very interesting because you and I have had many long discussions, and I have actually mentioned to you, didn't I, sweetie, about apprenticeships are going to come out towards the end. We did talk about, you and I have talked very at length regarding that. So I will catch up on your news, sweetheart. But yes, apprenticeships. So let's quickly touch on that before you ask your question, because as I said, the restructuring of the schooling and the education, we call it quantum education, where the quantum education system, as I said, the children will remain at home, is my understanding, that until about 8 years of age, where they actually become children. They are children. From 8 to 15, they will be in a certain education school, and then, of course, then they will be offered the opportunity to go into apprenticeships. So this timing of this so-called apprentices and apprenticeships, it certainly, it tells me that there's massive growth about to happen in South Africa. I do believe, I expect to see that coming out of Vietnam, Thailand, and Indonesia as well. So that's all coming. So we did talk about this. Gee, would have to be at least 12 months ago, Mrs. C. I think that you and I were talking about that. And it's
when
very
I'm worried
timely.
about the children.
Absolutely, always about the children and the schooling system and what have you. But the 2027 is very interesting. We're in 2026 and it feels like a long way away. However, it's very interesting that the timing that they're already saying apply for this now. So it definitely tells me that there's transition through this quantum education system is going to occur. And will we actually have that that you and I have talked about, where through these transitions that the children, the schools will be closed, hopefully, for a period of time until such time as these this new system is implemented. Is it going to be through some kind of EBS or scare event? We don't know, but you and I have talked about that, and I'm very excited to hear that they are asking for apprenticeships and apprentices in many different sectors. Hospitals will change as well. As I said, we're seeing different types of medical science. This is the science that is coming through as well. So I'm very excited, Mrs. C. Thank you so much for that. So,
Yes,
well, what was your question?
No, but another thing that I've noticed is they're bringing more, and it's more on the, I'll just say it, the black side of it. They're teaching them more of the agricultural part, the playing in the mud, the, you know, that sort of thing. That's what I've seen too on the news.
Wow.
That's to adapt to the land and grounding, and they don't say that, but we know that.
But you can see that, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's even more exciting to hear those kind of things, and it's those for the eyes to see, ladies and gentlemen. As I said, Mrs. C's always got her eyes on the changes and having an open heart and open mind. That's exciting. Getting back into the mud and making mud pies, and oh wow, haven't done that for many years. So yeah, so that's exciting. So that's very good. So did you actually have a question today, darling?
Yes, I did. It kind of ties in with that other lady's one. There's always that thing is, this is not for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you're doing a humanitarian project with, say, a township here or something like that, how do you know if they're part of it or not? Because there could be somebody there doing it already.
Oh, but you're going to do it for yourself and you're going to do it for your community. It doesn't really matter if someone else is doing one in that same area. You'll probably find that they aren't, because we're only talking about a minority group. But where you are, Mrs. C, I wouldn't be concerned about that. I'm talking about a lot of people want to do housing projects, for instance, and they may find that they weren't aware of big housing affordability is being funded by some of the funds that were redirected from the nefarious businesses or corporations, and they are going to be, you know, looking after those from the homeless, those who have just been displaced into prisons that shouldn't be in prisons because they don't really belong there. They just put themselves there. All of those kind of things. What you're talking about is rebuilding your community, and that's a little bit of a different humanitarian type of projects. But for people to understand that there is good things going on that they may not be aware of, and those are the affordable houses. We did have a bit of a discussion in central New South Wales about it, because it's still part of the education system of different types of building structures are changing. As I said, hemp is coming into that as well. So, but if it's to do with your community, We often talked about this in Thailand, in some of the northern parts up towards Laos and things like that as well. These communities might need a playground. A lot of these schools do not have play equipment in their schools. So that kind of thing. So when I'm talking about housing affordability, I'm talking about mass projects that have been redirected. If it's to do with something specific in a smaller community, this is where you come into play, but just be wary or aware, I should say, that a lot of these projects have been getting funded as well. So yeah.
No, this is just the one that I've been referred to is just a normal community that could be near the farm that we're going to go to. And yeah, apparently they're very poor and hard done by, and the kids can't get to school and, things like that. But the thing is also, we want to be a ministry also. And ministry is not just preaching the gospel, although that's where we eventually want to get to. But it's the loving. It's the faithfulness and the timing of keep on going there, not giving up.
Yeah.
It's not the physical gift or whatever that you'd give them, or
it's
food
a safe
or
place. Yeah. So, and
Yeah.
and I think that will happen organically. And as I said, because you live in those communities, when people visualize what you see in your community, then I think it's it will be just perfect. I'm sure it will be perfect.
32 minutes in,
well, thank you,
guys.
Mrs. C. As always, we appreciate you.
Hours, just under 2
And
hours.
we'll definitely catch up again very, very soon. So take care of yourself and the children, and we'll definitely thing. So before I get to Divinely Made, did LG or Gypsy, did you have a question at all?
Hi, Mel.
Yes, Gypsy. Hello, how are you?
Oh, I'm okay. I was just wanting to know when we're going to see the shakedown of the banks and the courts and stuff. I actually have court tomorrow. My husband's business went into receivership a little while ago, and they're now coming after our family farm. And it's really hard on the heart and everything. It's where I plan to do my humanitarian project. And I'm just wondering, when are we going to see the proof is in the pudding, and what's going to happen to places that have been taken over? And is there any insight into that?
Okay, so I did a story with some farmers just recently about ANZ, and this is based in Australia, but it's very similar to yourselves as well, that a lot of banksters around 2005 started these narratives. Gypsy, is that, they're still coming after people's properties, and it's still very concerning for me. It is very, very concerning. These dominions cause a lot of stress, a lot of harm, both mentally and physically. And it's one of those things, honey, you've just got to keep fighting the fight until it actually flips. The good side to this is that, as I said, there is certain portions that they have actually arrested a lot of the banksters that were involved in this nefarious system. We only have the evidence that they are working outside of the quantum system. They're not inside the quantum system. So until that quantum system, unfortunately, is completely engaged, there's people like yourself, and we send you many, many prayers, sweetheart, because I've just recently come back from another farm that was just saved by the brink of, I'm talking 20 minutes or so. Some funds came through and they were able to save their farm. And it is a very, very tough situation that the farmers and that are facing. The reparations are, my understanding is again, looking at the tokenisation of the land and things like that as well. Does this land get given back to you? I surely hope so. There's no guarantees in any of that. But what I'm saying is, fundamentally and logically speaking, you would think that that nefarious activity, once it's flipped, it cancels, and that should be given back. But it doesn't help you right at the moment, because if they are talking about coming on and seizing properties, it is a very, very difficult call. You just have to keep fighting the fight, and yeah, every situation is different. Understand that. So I don't want to imply something because I don't know your actual personal situation. So, but certainly know that they are fully aware of it. The system, as I said, hasn't completely flipped, unfortunately. And until that happens, people are still fighting to save their properties and things like that as well. It's a tough one. It's a tough one to answer, because I can see that changes are being made, but again, we're still living in that corrupt system until at such time it's been flipped. So unless you wanted to talk about it privately, that's okay. But yeah, it's a tough one. But there is changes in the background that are covering. As for the implementation of the court system, this is what everyone wants to hear, is that, as I said, there's been many dominions that have been taken out, they have been replaced, or they have so-called committed suicide. But it still doesn't help people like you, because it hasn't obviously got to your sector as well. But please know that they are still arresting people for child trafficking. They're still arresting people in the courts, in the court system. That is still going on. But again, it doesn't help you in that particular situation. But definitely know that go back in God's grace and pray and, yeah, get through it and see what happens, darling. But every situation is different. Every court case is different. I know in Australia they were running, the court systems were running through the family courts in Western Australia for quite some time, because a lot of the other courts were taken down because they were so corrupt. They were actually running every business, any court business was run through the family court, as corrupt as that is as well. But again, like I said, every area, every state, every country has its own implementations. And I'm sorry, I can't really answer that directly, but just know that, yeah, you just got to keep fighting the fight. But they are bringing the system down. It's crazy, but yeah.
Well, I'll ask this group to pray for us.
Absolutely, my darling. And I say that with full sincerity, because I've been on farms where they've actually taken people's properties, and it's not a good feeling at all. And but yeah, my hearts and thoughts and prayers.
How do I contact you personally?
You can message me at mlitart and private message me there, darling, and we can have a quick chat and an extra prayer session as well. So at mlitart, MELMICA, and you can private message me over there, and we can yeah, go through it a bit more in depth. But it's a tough gig, farming. So.
All right. Well, thanks for all you do, Mel.
That's okay, darling. Like I said, I can only tell you what I know, and there's a lot that I can't do, but know that there is light at the end of the tunnel, honey. So, but yeah.
I'm looking forward to it, and I'm keeping my vibes positive. I know beautiful things are coming. We want a battle to be alive at this time, so something's got to be epic.
Absolutely. All right, darling. Love to you.
Thank you.
Darling. That's okay. LG, and then we'll go to the beautiful Divinely Made. LG, do you have a question at all, darling? Okay, Divinely Made, do you have a question, hun? Saw you popping up before.
Oops. Actually, I wanted to give some encouragement. I listened to
Okay,
Holly.
go for it.
I listened
Absolutely.
to Holly
Then we'll go to
today.
the board. Yes.
I listened to Holly and Scott Brunswick, and he seems to think that everything's going to be over by July 4th.
I have heard little whispers about that. Yes, yes. So,
and I've also got two more things. I went to my doctor, and of course he's a starseed. But anyway, I was tickle pink. Before I talked to him, I talked to a woman that was at my son's bank, and she told me that the currency is definitely changing. Then, my friend works at a hospital in Bristol, Virginia, or Tennessee, I forget. Anyway, she said that the whole 5th floor has been closed down, and they're not allowed to go up. So I thought that was quite interesting. And she also said that there's a special thing that they have to do about cleaning it. There's some kind of special thing they have to get it done and get passed. So I thought that was interesting too. So it is changing in the hospitals, and it is changing in the banking.
there you go. Wow. Geez, I could make some assumptions there, but I'm not going to. But yes, that's exciting. Geez, you've had a busy couple of days, haven't you, since the last time we spoke? So,
and I had a wonderful review with my doctor. He said that my frequency is quite high, and that he knew I was a starseed. Excuse me, my dog. He knew I was a starseed and a light worker. And we were on the same level.
Awesome. Absolutely. Well, divinely made. You have certainly brightened my day. And with all of those little bits and pieces of news, very, very exciting. As I said, apprenticeships in hospitals. Now we're hearing hospital floors being closed. This is getting very, very exciting. Very, very exciting. So some renovations on the 5th floor. Very exciting. Excited about that. Yes, I haven't had a chance to listen to Scott Brunswick and, of course, beautiful Holly. So thank you for that little update as well. So someone did post it, I think. But
it sounds wonderful.
I'll get to that. We'll see.
It sounds wonderful.
Excellent.
And I am is going to have his MedVet appointment.
Yes, I have heard that as well. Yes.
Isn't that awesome?
So it is very, very exciting. Very, very, very exciting. So there's a lot to be excited about. That is for certain. It's that's exciting. Thank you so much, Divinely Made. Appreciate you muchly. Very, very muchly.
And remember,
absolutely come back.
We already won. We've already won. We've got it.
We have already won. Amen to that. All right, sister, we'll talk to you soon. Who was that wanted to pop in and say hello and ask a question? Who was that? I did hear someone.
That was me. This is Wildflower. I was going to do a couple questions.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Is there any questions on the board? Is there any questions? Blossom's up there as well. So we'll get to you in a second, Blossom. So is there any questions on the board?
Yep, there quite is. And Tom, do you want to read your question to Mel?
Sure. Hi, Mel. How are you?
How are you, sir?
Good. So here's my question. On December 15th, 2025, JP Morgan, after initially stating years away, announced the launch of its first tokenized money market fund, My On-Chain Net Yield Fund, MONI, on the public Ethereum blockchain. And as you discussed earlier, last week, JP Morgan transferred the listing exchanges for 14 of its ETFs between NYSE, CBOE, and NASDAQ without really a clear explanation other than to optimize capabilities.
Yes.
This week, JP Morgan's global head of ETF products stated tokenization could reshape the entire funds industry, though some good use cases are still years away. And then JPMC's group, formerly Onyx, has been focused on underlying blockchain and core tokenization technology with the key JPM coin component processing transactions since 2019. So please explain so a fifth grader could understand how these recent JP Morgan actions connect together to frame our future financial landscape. In addition, what is a likely catalyst to introduce broad-scale adoption of near-instant 24/7 MMF and ETF trading?
Okay. ETF trading. I hope I get to all of those questions. I actually have my pen ready for you today, Mr. Tom, because you have like 5 questions in one. Okay, so let's go back to the interesting part about this is, as I said, I started the show and I did mention about 1996 and the revaluation of the Iraqi dinar. The implementation from there forward was, of course, the quantum system. JP Morgan, as we know, was nefarious and is now part of the new global currency conglomerate system, the quantum system. In 2019, you mentioned about the coin being released. So let's do this in a time frame. So back in 1996, I'm going to take a little bit of a history lesson back here because a lot of people are new and probably haven't heard it before. But let's talk about back in the day, in the 1960s, late 1960s, we saw many concepts. And these concepts, of course, were suppressed. And then, of course, then we saw the assassinations and this, that, and all the rest of it. This also goes back even further when we talk about JP Morgan and the story behind, of course, the illustrious sinking of the Titanic. So it all ties in together. We fast forward to 2019, where this tokenization actually began. This also began when we started to acknowledge the central bank digital currency. And boy, did we have to have a re-education on all of that. In 2019 is when, of course, we saw the implementation of COVID. We saw this central bank digital currency, and we all assumed that this was going to be the implementation of the New World Order. Well, it was stopped in its tracks because of this tokenization. This tokenization that we are talking about is also going to take it to another level now, because this is all offline and off-planet. So this is when these planets of ours start to align. In 2019, the tokenization was to reset the level playing field. It isn't going to be, as you said, the use cases are going to be applied in several years, hence the 2027 timeline that we touched on just a short time ago with Mrs. C from South Africa and the apprenticeships. How does this all align? This was taking everything of what we call assets. These are what we call real-world assets. Now, real-world assets also include that of things such as art, so all the artists out there. It's interesting that you mentioned about the Ethereum blockchain and the tokenization back in 2025. During this to the timeline, as I said, up to 1960, where the concept, because I just got cut off then, where the concept of what we now know to be part of our new quantum banking system is that of XRP. XRP was the original concept. Because they couldn't, the nefarious banksters and that had hold of the XRP, they couldn't break it. So they created the Bitcoin blockchain. And in Bitcoin, they use what we call a hashtag system. And in that system is when every time there is a hashtag, it can change or alter the transaction. So it runs on its own blockchain, and XRP runs it on its own blockchain called Ripple. and then we have Ethereum. So we're going to talk about those three just for the moment. The Ethereum blockchain is a very unique blockchain. So we have Bitcoin, and we have Ethereum, and we have the Ripple XRP. Remember, XRP is the original. It can't be broken. It's not hackable. Bitcoin is hackable because it can be altered through the hashtag. The Ethereum, however, has what we call specialized utilities or uses inside of that particular blockchain. And the reason they utilize the tokenization in the Ethereum blockchain was because in Ethereum, although things cannot be altered and changed, they can have additions to that block. So if you think of the block and the transaction inside of that block, with Ethereum, they can actually alter the block, but it cannot be changed once that alteration is made. That's a simple explanation on the Ethereum blockchain. They used it to tokenize everything. So this tokenized your land, your art, your vehicles. All of these things are going to be tokenized. So any adjustments to the land, or we call them land deeds, are all going to be tokenized. Now, that puts a little bit of fear into some people's hearts. But understand this, that it was more nefarious having people intervene into those blocks, because things could be rubbed out, altered, changed by a pen and a paper. By tokenization, by putting it on this quantum system, it stops all of that nefarious frequency coming in and playing or messing around with your deeds or your tokenized of your assets. Those assets will remain yours. So for the beautiful Gypsy Co, who was in that situation as well, understand that in the onset of this whole quantum system flipping over, what is already tokenized, and as we look in the timeline of 2019, understand this tokenization has been occurring during that time as this implementation of this quantum system has been happening. And as I said, once it's completely flipped and that tokenization or that block has been completed of any alterations that may have occurred during certain timeframes, that block then remains as a block, as in a block of land, a block in the art museum. That block, it cannot be altered. That's the exciting part about this tokenization. During this implementation in 2019 with the central bank digital currency was to tokenize your currency. It was not part of the New World Order. It was centralizing, the centralized bank was now going to be decentralized using these blockchains such as Ethereum, and of course we are now running on that Ripple XRP blockchain. Bitcoin runs a separate, is running as a separate identity. We now see Jack Dorsey coming out saying that it is now money. Very interesting. Bitcoin is now being mined in the United States for the sole purpose that it is now being graded as an asset, not what it was before, where it was just an algorithm within an algorithm and wasn't attached to anything. So that's blockchain, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and now we run on the Ripple or XRP ledger blockchain. 2019, so let's get to the 24/7 ETFs. An ETF is an exchangeable tradable fund. It is a group of funds that are put into a pool of money, into a pool of funds, and are traded. In 2019, when they incorporated the central bank digital currency into the decentralized system, that being our quantum system, then during that time they utilized the stock market. hence why the JP Morgan 14 ETFs were then transformed from the NASDAQ and things like that as well, because this is the transformation of sending the tokenized assets over to the platform, the quantum platform, using the old stock market platform or payment system. This, of course, is your new Forex exchange, and this is where you'll be utilizing all of your currencies. Currency exchanges will be done 24/7 on that new tradable platform. So yeah, very complex, but 2019 was the initiation of that tokenization, and that tokenization now is going to be running 24/7. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your new quantum system. So hopefully we didn't lose too many. We lost probably about 10 people there, but that's okay. But very important to understand the logistics about it, and the fact that they will be trading 24/7, and it will be on those very safe blockchains, that being, of course, Ethereum and Ripple. Bitcoin will still run its own course as things unfold. That's a different kettle of fish. But yeah, it will be optimizing, and it's optimizing on the old stock platform, which runs 24/7. So yeah, so very, very interesting how the concept was XRP originally, and look where we are today. We're running on XRP. So very, 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 very excited about that. So thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Mel.
Alrighty, let's get to the next question here. All right, this is from Ian Gav. Hi, Mel. Trump recently posted a video from 1929 of well-dressed people walking down the street and eventually joining a queue. Will Barney suggested it may be a soup line, but they look so too happy for that. What is your take on that video, please? Thanks.
It is. Yeah, we used to go to church and we used to get dressed up in our Sunday best, didn't we? Look, in 1929, everyone, hold on a second, Kimmy, we'll get to you in a second, honey. Look, suits, dress, the top hats. 1929 was, of course, the big crash. We saw it all happen. I don't read too much into that. I think that respectfully, even in the day, everyone would go out, whether it be the church, to the Sunday races, or to whatever. Suits are suits, but it's what's inside the suit that you have to be concerned about. But as for the dresses and the dressing and the 1929 and the suits, hey, I'm okay with all of that. It's not a big deal for me. So yeah, read into it what you will. And Will has his own perspective on that. You know, we all have our different acronyms, but I wouldn't be worried about that. 1929, yeah, interesting year.
I think this is the biggest one so far of the year. 2 hours and 26 minutes. This one is.
Yeah, 1933 is even more interesting because that was the seal that we have here in Australia for our banking system. We go back to 1933 here in Australia. So interesting times. Everyone has a different perspective, but suits and dresses, who cares? So.
Yep. All right. Lori Flower Girl said, looking beautiful, Mel.
Oh, thank you.
Sunny Smiles said, thank you, Mel, for being here. How is your travels going? Any progress on your YouTube channel?
Oh, yes. Yeah, as soon as I get a few things sorted, once I get settled, we've got no water here today, as I said. So, yeah, it doesn't seem to be settling anywhere at the moment. But like I said, I've got about 7 hours of videos to download. And as soon as I get the last bit of equipment comes through, I'll be downloading like crazy, and you'll have a fantastic new YouTube channel to go and have a look at. Everything from not just the banking side of things, but from beekeeping to regenerative farming to compost and worms. It's a whole range of 7 hours of videos that I've put together, and that should be up hopefully next week or the week after, the very latest. So, but thank you for that. Yes.
Alrighty. Sarah Zams just said hi, Mel. Miss Z says, Mel, love the hairdo. Looking beautiful, lady. Kay Rose said, you're a ray of sunshine. And then TBJO2. I see you have a couple different questions on here. I'll go ahead and just read this one. There has been a steady drumbeat out of Iraq over the past months for the new prime minister to be seated and a cabinet appointed before the RV can be started. Are we watching an actual administrative process play out in selecting the new PM, or is this simply a disclosure event to show the world how corrupt the Iraqi political process is in Iraq? When will this anticipated process finally end?
Well, that's a fantastic question, because that was actually discussed in the pre-meeting before I started the show today. We did discuss it. I believe they have pushed back that official announcement for the Prime Minister and the administrators. It's not just about Iraq, as we tend to sort of focus sometimes, we're going to blame Iraq for the delay. It's not. It wasn't just there. There's many countries at the moment who are holding off on announcing their prime ministers because they have found more corruption. And as this thing gets closer and closer, big leg, just hold on a second. Thanks, hon. What they're saying is that it wasn't just about Iraq. Iraq was told not to announce their their prime minister, due to other internal issues, not just in Iraq, but it was many other countries. There was about 4 other countries that they all of a sudden saw some nefarious things happen. It was due to happen over the weekend, as we know, but it wasn't just Iraq. I can assure you of that. Although we focus on the news on Iraq and it feels like Iraq is the problem, it's not. There was about 4 other countries. That's stopped all of that, but will it expose it? Absolutely, I think it will. I think it will expose some nefarious activity going on. So,
alrighty. That next question had to do with Iraq Prime Minister also, so I'm going to go ahead and skip that. So also, according to some Telegram channels, the conversion of major banks from fiat money to the new gold asset-backed currency is set to begin this Saturday, May 2nd. Can you confirm this?
May the 2nd, may the force be with you. I'm here on the 7th of May. Who knows? I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't do dates, but I had heard the 7th of May. So, yeah, I'm not really sure on the 2nd, but they are saying that there's a lot of transitions and the fundamentals are changing over from the 29th. Let me put it to you this way. From the 29th of April, which is not that far away, we are looking at some major, major changes coming through. Implementation, as we were just talking about in the tokenization side of things on the platforms, I expect to see some form of possible crash. Implementations are expected on the 1st. We've been talking about that for about a month now. They're saying on the 2nd, I'm saying a little bit later. I think it's going to be later in that week, around about the 7th of May, most likely possible, for the release of that note and all the rest of it. They are talking about that That was in discussions, but I'm not going to say the second. I think it's going to be in that first week of May. May the force be with you.
Oh, this is from Erica G. We are still seeing many Indians purchasing businesses and housing in a big way here in Australia. Will this all change?
Yes, it will. The Indian story in Australia is a little bit bigger. They are purchasing properties for a sole purpose that they will be doing a whole heap of agriculture in Australia. It used to be China, 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 and now it's India, India, India in Australia. And Australians are a little bit toey, but there is reasons for that. India are coming in. It's not an invasion. They are going to be working here. So, yeah, it's all good.
Alrighty. A couple more and we'll go back to the live. How and when?
I'm just going to have to go and grab. I just have to go and grab my battery pack. For some reason, my tablet's just drained itself, and it shouldn't have drained. 2 seconds, ladies and gentlemen.
Everybody okay in chat? There's only a few in chat. Yep, this is one of the big ones of the year so far, I think.
Thanks, Mom. Appreciate you. Honey, I'm trying. Gee, that didn't take long to drain that. Okay, we're back. Okay, let's go.
Alrighty. This is from AMH. How and when will the new calendar be implemented?
Poor. Okay. When is an understatement. How is it going to be implemented? Just like they did any other time, they just announce it, and here's your new calendar. Boom. It's just, it's going to be 13 months, of course. That changes all your astrological stars. We have the other star added. I saw an interesting video on the Leo the other day. So whatever month Leo is in, that could be the month that they convert it over. It just sort of resonated with me.
Anybody know
Leo the Lion.
Leo month?
When they're going to do it, I really don't know, to be honest. But I know they will change it.
Sounds good.
Just don't know when.
Thanks, Andrea. Longest video.
Alrighty, let's go back to some live questions. And I'm Leo the Lion, by the way, now.
Yes. Well, I think Blossom was the next one up. So.
Hi, Mel. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. I just wanted to say that I also thought your hair is looking amazing. You've grown it out and it looks so pretty. I just wanted to tell you that. And we all really appreciate what you do. And I feel like you don't often get enough credit for what I feel you deserve. So I just want to thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. My question is if you know when the Jubilee will happen and if we'll all go at the same time with the states, the debt Jubilee.
Yeah. The debt Jubilee, yes, very interesting. I think it's going to happen simultaneously. That's part of the actual reset. So that's no one's actually you're cheeky. Because you called it the debt Jubilee, so it changes the alteration of my answer.
I'm probably not saying that right.
Oh, no, you're saying it right. No one else has actually said it like that. We only ever talk about what's RV going to happen. So the debt Jubilee, some of that actually, technically it happens. So on the onset of a global currency reset, the Jubilee, debt Jubilee that you're talking about, actually is occurring as we speak, because as it is released, the funds are released through the government and things like that as well. That's the first part of the reset, and that's basically the debt Jubilee. So wipe out all of the debt, so to speak, and then that resets, and that is the onset of the actual RV. And that's technically happening as we speak. So as the governments receive their funding from the actual RV or reset, that's technically your debt Jubilee. So.
Do you know how long it will be till we start seeing it personally?
10 to 10. Hour and 16 minutes.
For our personal debt?
Okay, so personal debts, they've been doing testings. As you may have heard some people's stories of their university debts have been wiped or their credit cards have been wiped. These are what we call beta testing. How does that harm occur, or when does it occur? I'm going to say the 19th of June.
Okay.
Which sounds like a long way away, but but you're talking about your personal debts, yeah. But like I said, technically it's already happening. Okay. So around about the 19th of June, yeah, thereabouts.
Oh. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
That's okay, no worries. Who was next? Vic Leg.
Did you say Vic Leg or Vicky G?
Yes, that's you. That's yes. Vicky. Oh, sorry, Donnie. I haven't got my glasses on. I can't see that. That's okay. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. You're doing good?
Excellent.
Good. You're looking good. So, I'm a Canadian. I talked to you on your last show, I think. And I'm just wondering if the process in Canada is going the way it is in other places, or are we way behind?
No, it's you're ahead. You're ahead of the game. Believe you me. We're
ahead.
Going. Yes, it is perfectly fine in Canada. Yes.
I thought with Carney we'd be way behind, but
no. It feels like that. I'm sure it feels like that, but it's not. You are going extremely well in the background. Great. Yes.
Great.
You'll be perfectly fine.
It won't surprise me if we're already part of the U.S. and nobody's been told yet. So
100%. Absolutely. 100%. Thanks for that. T-Swan.
Thank you.
How are you? Thanks, Vic. T-Swan, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm awesome. Apparently I'm having a good hair day, so I'm very happy about that.
Well, that's good. My question earlier was, you have your own things that you look at. So what are the next several things that in order that you think has to happen that we need to be watching?
What do you mean?
As the transition of everything's going
Well,
through,
not yet.
we have certain things. I know the death of the king, and I've heard that and different things.
What other events? Yeah, okay. Could be anything, could be anything. Are we going to see another 9/11 event? It doesn't necessarily, the king's dead. Just get it done. But it could be any number of things, sweetie. I just want to see it done. Is it going to be the king, queen, whatever? Are they going to announce the queen? Does the queen just come out? And we're talking about, is it going to be Melania? That was at the round table today as well. We were talking about which Trump is it? Is it Melania? People are focusing very much on the jewelry that she wore at the State of the Union and things like that as well, or at the dinner the other night with the shooting. That was part of her family's jewelry collection. As I said, who is running the show? She hasn't been in the limelight for quite so many months. Has she been working over as in Russia? So many different elements to this so-called movie. Is it going to be a Pacific event? If you were to say, oh, King Charles dies, you know, the changing of their currency. Well, their currency, I think, changed again just recently. So we can't be waiting on that death to be officially announced, even though we know that he's long gone. But what I'm saying is that what is it going to be? Is it going to be another 9/11 event? Is it going to be another scamdemic? Who knows? We're starting to see again. It's this repeat, wash and rinse program that they're running. Are they going to run malaria through Africa? I don't know. I really don't know. Fundamentally, like I said, that's why I don't focus on the other elements, because to me the elements are there for show ponies, and I don't generally go into them. I think some of them are fascinating to watch, especially with the shooting and that was going on. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's any real list for me, there's no real list. I go from there. So yeah, so I just focus on the fundamentals.
Right.
Yeah, I don't really think of anything then, but hey, knock yourselves out. Yeah, there's enough to go on to entertain people with, but YGS, what's happening?
Hi, Mel.
Mel, hi, and greetings again from New Jersey. Listen, as of today, April 27th, major insurance company, which I've done business with in the past. I won't say the name of the company. I could share that with you on a other channel private.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And they put out a statement, and I'm just summarizing it very quickly. Basically, they are digitizing annuity transactions, 1035 exchanges and transfers. For those listening, it means money transfer between plans going into an annuity. Okay. Now, they're digitizing it. They are modernizing the annuity transactions through standardized digital-first processes. This will lead to improving turnaround time, accuracy, faster fund transfer between participating carriers, and basically, we're talking protection from fraud. This tells me blockchain. This also tells me the start of the end of the Patriot Act, which was the biggest robbing of our personal rights monetarily ever, which the Bushes created. That said, this came out today. It starts today. Now, this means I'm asking
today.
Yeah, it's today. So anybody who's not on board, tough nuggers, because as of today, if you're an agent or what have you, you got to use their digital processes, right? So that tells me a lot. I would have to think, going back to our previous conversation, this tells me annuities, which are insurance company contracts, as we both know, are going to be mirrored, because there's just too many contracts out there worldwide. We're talking in the trillions. This tells me they're going to be basically tokenized. They are. It's starting. Would you agree with that, or along that lines? What do you think?
Bingo. Absolutely bingo. You just hit. I'm not going to even repeat that, because you did such a great job of going through that. It's not liking me. You said it. I won't be able to speak because they've already just muted me twice during that.
I got you.
So yes, I know. Insurance is one of those things. it was frauded, and this is also got to help those people who will receive those insurance immunities that they didn't receive are going to be received. So when we talk about this debt jubilee that we was just touching on before, this is why I said tokenization. I spent a bit of time on that today about the tokenization because it is very, very important. So, and it is skipping and jumping all over the place right now. Oh my gosh, I tell you, they don't want me talking about it.
Hey, we are at an hour and 6 minutes, you guys. We're going to make it. Chico.
Insurance companies.
It was
they
interesting.
Are jumping my screen.
It was interesting just to the timing because we're hearing the same intel from others. You know, we pay attention to you, but isn't it interesting? The 27th today, and I mean, they adamantly state as of today, boom, it's like the curtain came down. And I found that a foreshadowing. I mean, hey, you know, it's like, yeah, you're lighting the rocket. That's basically what I'm thinking. So I think they're mirrored. I think our yeah, I think they're going to be mirrored.
Insurances. They're 100% mirrored. I did state, that's fine, mate. I did state earlier, 29th, I'm expecting to see something come out according to the banking. Yeah, they're not liking me at all today, ladies and gentlemen. Wooshka.
You're over the target.
I'm telling you, but I have already released those dates. So if you need to go back and listen to the dates that I was just talking about. But boom shakalaka, brother. That is awesome.
Thank you.
That is awesome, awesome news, ladies and gentlemen. That is awesome.
Thank you.
Now, before the screen jumped, who was next? Shuffles, I think it was. Snuffles. There you are. Snuffles. Yes. There you go.
Hello from Ontario, Canada, everybody. So
thank you.
As my fellow Canadian, a couple people was talking to you about Carney. Yep. Did you happen to hear today that Carney started a Canada-wide or national sovereign fund?
Yes, I did.
So does that, now that you have said that Canada's ahead of the game, because I, like my colleague there a few minutes ago, thought we were way behind. I'm very worried about this whole situation here because it's pretty bad up here. Do you think that that sovereign fund has something to do with what's coming freedom-wise and his days are numbered? No. Anything?
Yes. Anything, really? Absolutely. Sovereign fund is that to go back to the people. And he's just the puppet, remember? Right. He's just a puppet. For him to come out with a sovereign fund, we talked about sovereign funds and wealth funds, reconstruction funds in the banks. These funds all of a sudden are starting to appear. A sovereign fund is for that of going back to the people. We have a Commonwealth fund here in Australia. It's been earning a little tiny bit of interest, and this is the interest from different things or unpaid debts that were never received and things like that as well. So it goes into this fund or this pool of money, and it then gets released to the people. So if he's talking about a sovereign fund, that is your fund for we the people. That is the funds that are going to be gifted to you, whether we have some kind of big event. That's the funds that he's going to use, or it, I should call it, it is going to use to substantiate a universal income and things like that as well. So that's what sovereign fund is.
And the fact that he's going to be printing money to fund this fund is good for what's coming? Does that mean
he can print as much as he wants?
Yeah.
Because
he's going to be printing money to fund it.
Absolutely. Of course he is. It is going to be funding itself because this is the old funds. This is part of that old system. That's what I'm saying. These are old funds. Yeah. Do you see my point? It's
Yes.
not gold backed. These are
Okay.
the funds that are owed to you from previously. So they're coming back to you, as I said, as a universal income. So they're going back to you, not in the new system. This is part of the old system. So these are the funds, as I said, that have all been put into a pool and then have to go back to you. Otherwise, if you do a complete reset, those funds don't go back to you. These are what these funds are. So it's like Trump said, maybe we should pay off our debt in Bitcoin. It's not worth anything, but you can pay off a debt. The debt's going to be wiped. So you wipe off the debt and you can print as much money as you like. The printing of the money could also be significant to a new currency. Because you've got to remember, this is a movie. It's a puppet.
Right.
Is he actually saying, we'll print some more money. We'll print money. You can print new dollars.
But he's doing such a fine job of being the evil villain in this movie that I cannot tell you enough. He's doing such a great job.
Don't be emotionally attached to that bullshit, because a sovereign fund is a sovereign fund.
Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, we've talked about them before. So.
All right. Well, thanks very much, Mel. You're a blessing. Thank you.
That's okay, Snuffles. You're all good. Now I've completely lost it. Lost who we were up to. Yes.
Now, this is Wildflower. So JT told me to tell you, tell Mel to call me. I have a blue speaker. Do you know what that? So he messaged me.
Yes, I do. And I actually sent him, hello, champion. I did send a message to him through JR the other day to thank him, and he is doing an amazing job over in his channel as well. But I will contact him afterwards. Thank you.
There he is. There he is.
There he is. There he is. Hello, champion. Gee, it's been a long time since you and I have had a chat. I hope JR got the message to you. But hello, hello, hello.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
So I still hold your channel in good stead, my dear man. So yeah. So did you? Yeah, I know you are. Do you have a question at all, sweetie, or are you happy to stay in the background?
Yeah, I have one question. You know, we've been hearing through certain people, like I just posted to you philosophy, and Wolverine and Mike and philosophy Jen said tomorrow the RV might start. So I don't know. You could check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, I was told the 29th, some actions, movement of the cog will happen on the 29th. So, yeah, so I'll definitely check it out for sure. Absolutely. So, but Indio.
Yeah.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
How's things?
You remember who I am, right?
My curtain was falling.
Absolutely. Go for it. Sarasota, absolutely. We had a great time down there.
Oh, I know. I love
Yeah,
it.
we certainly did.
We did. We truly did. I just wanted to ask you, get your viewpoint on the 3 days of darkness. But before you answer, there's a video that I saw yesterday and today. I shared it in his presentation yesterday, and then it was also in the Patriots channel today, where the man talks about the 3 days of darkness and total darkness.
No.
You know, no lights. Cars probably wouldn't work, at least the newer cars. You know, it's a little, I'll just say it's just a little scary, but I know, no fear, no fear. The one thing too, we focused on the importance of our relationship with God, you know, bottom line, you know. But anyway, I did post it. I sent it to you in a direct message. I sent that video if you want to watch it. It's not too long either. So I just wanted to get your viewpoint on the 3 days of darkness.
Absolutely. The 3 days, yeah, the 3 days of darkness. It's interesting. Tribal Power brought up something very interesting the other day regarding the stars and will it actually go dark? Will that ascension or that density move that we were talking about earlier going to be that of the sun, setting off some type of flare that creates a form of darkness across. A lot of people often ask, is it going to be 3 days or 10 days? I believe it is only the 3 days of darkness. Is it an actual physical darkness, or is it darkness as in the dark net, that kind of thing? But for me, it is, that's my sleep time. That's where I'm going to sleep for 3 days. Again, like I said, the 10 days of disclosure is a different type of thing, but the 3 days of darkness. People have so many different, I've heard some fascinating stories about this whole 3 days of darkness. But to me, fear not, as I say, and see what happens. To me, it's a part of the ascension, allowing people to sit in darkness, perhaps, and, like I said, reflect or revalue their morals and things like that as well. So, again, 3 days of darkness could mean multitudes of different things. Is it actual darkness per se? We will wait and see. But interesting. I will have a look at it, darling, and I'll send you a voice message. And once I've seen the actual clip itself.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
No worries at all. Beautiful. Lynn, how are you? And then Patriot from Wisconsin. Does Lynn have a question? Patriot from Wisconsin, did you have a question at all, Doll, or Truth Lover?
I don't have a question, Mel, but so nice to talk to you and listen to you. You're such a wealth of information. Thank you so much. We all appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you. Appreciate you being here. KS girl, do you have anything at all, sweetie? No. What about Hez?
Hey, Mel.
Hey, all for truth. There you go. Someone, please. Yes. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
I'm awesome. Awesome for having you here too.
I have two thoughts that I want to share with you, and it has to do with the shooting that took place, the assassination.
Oh.
So my first thought is somehow, some way, the guy gets a shotgun into this hotel, and he allegedly shoots a Secret Service guy, even though I think a Secret Service guy shot his Secret Service teammate.
Yeah.
That's my take.
Yes.
But how is he not full of holes? That's the first thought. So every single person that's tried to do an attempt on Trump have all survived. And I don't know that you know this, but allegedly the shooter and J.D. Vance's wife were in a commercial in 2017 together. Did you know that?
That doesn't surprise me. I hadn't heard that, but doesn't surprise me. But you know what? I had a shooting. I got something funny to share with you. So when I was in Wisconsin, I did go.
Hey, Lori, do you have my Gmail yet, or did you get a Gmail account so we can finally talk, so you can meet everybody on the phone? You have my Gmail, right? So if you want me to put it in chat for a minute, I will. If you got something to write with. You want me to write or put it in chat? You know, whoever wants to email me, this is my email. Okay, there it is, right below you there. Well, it's an easy one. Kay would love to finally meet you on the phone. Okay, good. Now we can, you'll be able to talk to people on the phone now.
I got something funny to share with you. So when I was in Wisconsin, I did go. Went down and had a bit of a shoot at a shooting range. So they're lucky I wasn't shooting because I only hit the target once, 1 in 10. So you got 1 in 10 chance of running away. So that's my first comment. But yeah, look, it is interesting how, you know, they didn't catch the gun, or, you know, I'm pretty sure metal detectors were used or some kind of filtration there of that actually happening. Again, all part of the movie. As soon as I saw the YouTube video of them all ducking underneath and all that sort of stuff, it's like, oh my gosh, this has just got crazier and crazier and crazier. But it's, again, like I said, was it the shot heard around the world? How many people didn't identify with the fact that it was just part of an actual alert? It's like I said, is this part of the alert system? It's like an alert. Oh my gosh, breaking news, alert, alert, alert. What was going on, what was being said at that meeting. So there's a whole heap of things that can be construed with all of that. But I would never make a sniper, mate. I hit 1 in 10.
Actually, I'm a pretty good shot.
Yeah.
But anyway, I did send you a DM too today regarding another conversation we had about the Garden of Eden not being too far from me. So you might want to. It's got a little bit more detail on that.
I did see it before I come on, actually. Yes, I did see that. Yeah, the Garden of Eden, very, very interesting.
Yeah,
and I think they're I think it's near you. Yeah, I know.
It's in a town near me called Chattahoochee. Between Chattahoochee and Bristol, Florida, is where they're. It's a park called Tate Park, and it's a beautiful place. Very nice. But
what's the name of the park?
Tate, Tate, Tate Park.
Tate
Tate.
Park.
Yeah.
That's interesting, isn't it?
It is, isn't that?
Tate.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, it just kind of mind blowing when you watch that video that not a single Secret Service person tried to shoot at the guy. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense. Anyway, God bless you, and God bless you, and thank you for all you do.
That's quite okay. No worries. So
now, Mark Mosley has a question. He's been putting his hand up, so to speak. So I'm going to go.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Hey Mel, how you doing?
I'm superb. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm calling from Wilmington, North Carolina.
Woo-wee. Yes.
Quick question about XRP. I go way back with Dave XRP Lyon, like 4 or 5 years, and he says there's going to be a buyback program. Can you tell me what you know about that and how it's tied into the RV?
Okay, the buyback, Mark. Okay, there was contracts of buybacks. There was, and I say that very lightly. The buyback was to be, I think it was around about 589,000. I think it was suggested was the last contract that I saw. But I don't believe there's going to be a buyback for the sole purpose of, I think there was another 40 billion XRPs that were minted just recently. So I can't see how there's going to be a buyback, so to speak. The fact that we've expanded the XRP, like I said, token, I don't think there is. There was, Mark. There was definitely a buyback. But I did my own logic on the buyback. Now, if the buyback was to be 589,000 per token as a buyback, I'm going to say this. I don't think that's enough. Because when you look at the actual token, the utilization of how many times that is going to be used in a transaction, 589,000 ain't going to even cut it. So when I looked at it logically, I decided, yes, I have heard of the buyback and it was an actual contract originally, but things have changed and altered, and I do not believe that I've seen an updated version of any kind of buyback. Unless he has that, I can't confirm that, but I can't see how they're going to buy back XRP. And if they were to buy it back, then yeah, you'd be silly to let it go. But to me, with the utility of XRP, the amount of times you're going to that token is utilized, I can't see how they can buy it back. That's my logic behind it. I'm not saying it's not true, but I have seen contracts of it in the buyback sector, but I don't believe that to be relevant any longer. So, but definitely ask Dave, XRP Lion Mark, if that is to be the case.
Yeah,
unless
he just
there is
texted
some
me.
form
I'll
of
ask him.
contract.
And I had one thing to add. Then if it isn't,
Yeah.
will it go on the new Wall Street that they're doing out of Tyler, Texas?
Ooh. I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
On that.
Thank you so
Very.
So did anybody hear about that? I never heard about New Wall Street in Texas.
Thank you, Sunshine.
Oh, that's okay. No drama.
I wanted
But
to share. I
definitely come
wanted to
back
share
to us and
something
let us know.
interesting. I was married at the exact same time on the exact same day in the exact same year as JFK Jr. and our wedding songs were the same. September by Earth, Wind and Fire. I thought that was pretty funny.
Wow, that's rather interesting, isn't it? Oh,
Do you remember the
There you go.
21st day of September?
September. Yes. Yeah.
God bless
Yeah.
you.
Oh, wowzy. That's
You're awesome.
Yeah. No worries at all, Mark. Thank you so much. You're awesome for being here and sharing and enlightening us with that bit of information, because we don't talk about it very often, but it's always good. Mountaintop, did you have another question at all?
Oh, I always have questions, but I didn't want to take up too much time.
Oh, that's okay, Val. Too easy. Lee W, go for it, Sunshine. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
All the better for hearing you, honey.
I
All the
have
better for hearing.
a great question related to what you've already talked about, which is asset backed, which is XRP. What event might you be thinking, or love your thoughts, that would kind of get silver and gold, let's say, out of the ditch of this $75? You know, what events out of everything you're seeing, or the 29th, as we level the playing field, what gets silver out of the ditch in, here on the back channels, you know what I'm saying, where it bumps up as well as gold.
Yeah, where it's going. What event? Snuffles was kind of asking the same thing. I don't think.
Oh, nice. Hope you had a good time, and we have a busy day today. This was the longest video of the year, I believe. 2.5 hours, or under an hour. So this is probably going to be a 4-hour show on the first one. But I got a lot more to cover, but I'll probably be back on at 7. But I got a lot more to share before we go off.
I don't think there's going to be a multitude of different types of events. I think the event will be some kind of cover story, like I said, a 9/11 event. If 9/11 event actually does happen, I'm watching the markets. I'm watching my markets. That's the truth. Because we were actually having a bigger discussion about the previous 9/11 events, so to speak, being direct energy weapons and things like that as well. So for me, if it was to be deemed to be an EBS, I'm watching the markets. So
related to what you speak to, related to that, would it be like, okay, Japan moved things here, China stored up here, you know, anything country to country related to silver or gold that you might be thinking?
Japan's always been that market, only because they open on the Sunday evening, which is your early hours on Monday. Japan, yes, but definitely the Chinese markets, because they hold the most amount of gold and silver. So they rule the roost on that one. So I'd be watching what happens in that market.
Perfect. Thank you.
That's okay. That's okay. You people are very sneaky. You try and get stuff out. It's crazy. Very crazy. But yeah.
Thank you, Leah. Now, can we get back over to the wall for a little bit?
Absolutely.
Alrighty.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's see here. Okay, question from Jan. Mel, do you see the schools shutting down anytime soon for reorganization?
Yes.
Okay. This is from Susan L. Mel, can you speak about how the bond debacle will affect the average homeowner or apartment dweller? Thanks much.
If the bond market, how does it affect the average person, this, that, and all the rest of it? Okay, so basically what happens is that bonds are subject to, basically, they are covered by the governments. So say, for instance, you purchase a government bond. There's many different types of bonds. So I'm just going to use this one as an example. So government, you're loaning the government. So when you purchase a bond from your government, you're actually loaning them money. Now, if the government can't pay you in the course of an event, there's actually schemes that you receive X amount of money back if government deemed to be completely collapsed or in a catastrophic event, can't pay you back the interest or the yielding or to pay back that bond. So how does it affect you as an individual or the everyday person? Is if that was to completely collapse, then, as I said, things are in place to utilise such things as the schemes that are in place to cover certain portion of those bonds are in place, and that will then activate, as I said, a universal income. The bond, as we said with the insurance company that we were talking about before, have been mirrored. And later on will be dispensed or dispersed on the catastrophic event that may occur. But as for the bonds, we talk about if the bond market implodes, but there's different types of bonds in the States where we talk about repo bonds and things like that as well, where people borrow money to against repos and things like that as well, all different types of bonds. But we watch the bond market because, as I said, you're actually loaning the government money. So you're lending them money based on receiving back a guarantee of that bond. And if that bond was to collapse in the unlikely event or likely event of an actual event, then yeah, it does. This is how they reset. If you were to think of it on a bigger scale, this is how they reset the valuation of properties and things like that as well. So takes away a lot of power. So if you collapse the government, it also takes away the power of, as I said, the revaluations include the valuations of properties, insurance policies, but as we have discovered today, they are all mirrored. How it's released, I think we have to see a catastrophic event of some sort. Do they like actually blow up the White House? I don't know, but whatever the catastrophic event will be, will affect, of course, that of the government bonds. The bonds cannot be paid back. Therefore, there has to be an official reset, and that's what we kind of want. So there's the good, the bad, and the ugly, but know that when there's a catastrophic event, this is the event to reset, and it sets the Jubilee off and everything else as well. So it's a multitude, it's a layered event, so with the bonds. So.
Alrighty, thank you, Mel. This is from Kathy, and hi, Mel. I know you're familiar with the ICOs relating to lobster, and forgive me if you've mentioned it before, I did not hear it. For those of us who are in it, do you think any of it is nefarious? We've been in it years now, and hopefully we'll see returns soon. Many thanks.
Is it nefarious? The wallet itself is not nefarious. There's nefarious activities that go on in lobster, but lobster itself is not nefarious. So keep that in mind. As I said, things are mirrored as well, just as they are mirrored in lobster. I saw some major updates coming directly out of the Stellar network with lobster. I believe Judy Shelton also linked to lobster as well. So as I said, lobster itself is not the issue. The issue is with the possibility of some nefarious things which are mirrored. These are like beta tests and things like that as well. So we will sit back and watch lobster, because it's always been that one that we've sort of had trepidation over. But I believe, my understanding, I'm taking it on good faith, that what I'm seeing in the fundamentals and what I'm hearing is that it's going to be okay, and that will sort itself out eventually. So if you had in lobster, I believe, actually there was some news that did come through. I just remembered about it. I did mention this to someone the other day. We were talking about things on it. If they will be converted back into XLM, those nefarious ones that you can't change. And I think that will be done through Aquarius blockchain. So that was a little bit of an update that I did get out of lobster. So other than that, wait and see. So wait and see.
Alrighty. This is from Carla B. What are your thoughts, Mel, on the hospital letters from DOD?
Oh, yes, haven't they created some kind of chaos? I haven't got it in front of me because my phone's in the room, but parts that, look, we've heard today. Let me take it from a different perspective. We have heard today from people that they are seeing changes in hospitals and all sorts of things. Do I believe it to be true? Use your discernment on some of it, but I actually did send it to someone and they reposted it on good faith, and boy, did they cop some criticism over that. What I'm going to say is that we have gone through this in blind faith. It's no different to if you were to use real raw news articles. Most of them, not all of them, but most of them have later been confirmed in other timeframes. So I say never ever write anything off. Use discernment. I believe some of that is deemed to be true. They are talking about medbeds being released again on the onset of the RV. Ask for your phone appointment. As I said, use your discernment. Don't get too attached to it, but there is parts of that I believe to be reasonably accurate, or I can validate and verify, but not all of it. But yeah, it has caused a little bit of hoo-ha. There's a lot of people say it's more misinformation, disinformation, but just take it with a grain of salt and take what you want to take from that. But it is a tough one. That one really stirred up the pot, to say the least.
Alrighty. So I see there's a couple questions on the wall about the Clarity Act. Any update, Mel, that you can let us know?
Yeah, as I said, I did explain it on Holly's show, that, and a lot of people in agreement in the XRP world to say that it's one of those fundamentals that is, I believe, has already been completed, but it's not an act that has actually gone through. It hasn't been formally said that it's been done. They're sort of giving this theatre of it's happening, it's not happening, it's going to happen in June, this, that, and all the rest of it. Again, I think that's interesting when we were talking about the timelines of about the 19th of June.
34.
Is that going to be the clarity that we need to move forward with the complete onset of the debt jubilee? We'll wait and see. But again, the Clarity Act to me is an act that was incorporated under the Genius Act, or the big beautiful bill, and it's already in play, it's already activated, it just hasn't gone through the Congress and all that sort of stuff. To me, it's theatre, because there's elements of that Clarity Act that are fundamentally being already there, just that they haven't approved it, but it's already actively in play. So it's one of those ones that people just get hold of, and they just hold on to that and it's go, well, they push it back again. No, it's already in play. It's part of the Genius Act. It's just, yeah, part of that movie and theatre. To me, I believe it's already done. I believe it's already done. I believe the set case was done 2 years ago, and we still carrying on. They carried on about it for what, 4 years, 5 years, but it was already done like 2 years ago. So again, Clarity Act done, and it's part, and you can see it in the fundamentals. So
Pretty hard to pass
everyone has an
something when we
opinion.
don't even have a Congress.
That's exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's the fundamentals tell me it's there. It's like, doesn't have to go through Congress. It's there. It's fundamentally, it's there. There's nothing in Congress to verify or clarify. We've got all these ones sitting on a shelf. We've got all of these acts sitting on a shelf, and not one of them has actually gone through the due diligence and process, because that's.
I don't know if you read my post there for today. This has been a 2.5 hour Mel, one of the longest videos so far this year. We're about 30 minutes left, and I'm going to probably go to 4 o'clock. This should be over here about 3:05, and then I'll do some short ones till 4 o'clock and come back at 7. A lot of stuff coming out. I wasn't going to come on, but this came out last night. Mel's video last night, so.
Because that's exactly right. There is no Congress. It's like we had a discussion at the round table today about IRS. Well, fundamentally, the IRS stay until 2027 to 2029.
Okay,
but they will remain as a umbrella, not as an actual building and people in the building and all the rest of it. But the infrastructure remains, because there will be taxes, but it's not an actual building with people in it, so to speak. And that's the same with the Clarity Act. It's already implemented. It doesn't have to be enacted by the Congress. It doesn't exist. So I agree.
Yeah, and you have to remember, when you're in, the commander-in-chief, he is a commander-in-chief because Congress doesn't need to do anything. They don't have any power. when you have a military government that's enforcing everything. So we can just take Congress out of everything. And
That's
they know
right.
that. When was the last time you've seen Congress pass anything in the last 6 months? They haven't. And if they do, if they pretend that they do, I mean, it's not going to be legit going forward. So that's why it's in
No.
these bills. That's why it's in the executive orders, because there is no Congress. There's no sitting Congress. They've been all taken away to Gitmo. That's my thoughts. But anyhow.
Well, no, it's interesting that you bring that up, because you've got to take note of the new White House app. There's a new White House app, ladies and gentlemen. Go check it out. Navigate through that. And yeah, you'll find some very interesting things. So, yes.
Alrighty, let's go through these rest of these questions here. Clarity Act. Okay, this is from Catherine Campbell. For the RV, will it first happen by a Forex rate, or will we exchange before it hits Forex? Also, do you expect we exchange before the EBS?
It has to hit the Forex before we exchange. It has to fit that. And what was the second part of that? Do we?
It said, also, do we expect we exchange before the EBS?
Who knows? Will the EBS be the cover story? Who knows? Fundamentally, it goes on the Forex first, then it will be announced. And again, is that going to be the EBS that the world has now flipped to a gold standard? That could be the EBS. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, exactly. Alrighty. Let's see here. So, Eagle Rare, back to the Clarity Act. Won't our funds be digital?
Upward? Are you sure it's me?
Yes.
Alrighty. Dragon Poker. Hi, Mel. To your understanding, is age regression possible in the med beds?
Yes.
Alrighty. And let's see here. Okay, there's 2 people that had put a message on the wall that they would like to ask you a question, and that is Axeman and Karen Pridgeon. So we'll go back to the live question.
Yeah, amazing.
Axeman.
Well, that's me. Can you hear me, Mel?
Hey, champion, how are you?
Not too bad. I've got a few points, mate. Like, first off, I've been watching the gay stream garbage, 10 at 5, and I've noticed that Jennifer Kite, who generally anchors that, hasn't been there. This is the 5th week running, and the one that's anchoring, they've got the weather bird doing it, right, Jade Cotty, and there was no mention of her like saying, okay, well, I'll be taking over for the next 4 or 5 weeks whilst Jennifer is at, on assignment or sick or whatever it is. She's just gone. So whether that's the case, the fact that the military have grabbed her and she's now in Gitmo, who bloody knows? It's all speculative, but that's one point. Another one is that Cole Allen, to do with this, this do thing, fucking thing. He was actually the driver for what's the bloody Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie, right? And we all know that that's Savannah Guthrie. Also, if that shooting was real, then that would sort of indicate that what's her name? Caroline Levitt, is actually clairvoyant because she preempted that prior to that actually happening because she was interviewed. I don't know who by, but I saw the interview, and he was saying, okay, so what can we expect, from the president? And she said a litany of things, and amongst it, she goes and says, and there's going to be shots fired. I'm thinking, hang on a minute. Like,
I did.
she's already preempted it. So my guess is this, is that the whole thing obviously was staged, right? For whatever reason, who knows? It's got heard around the world, whatever. It's obviously, central casting, because he just mentions that repeatedly over and over again, in different things. And I would think that Cole Allen or whoever was playing was out the back and just like ready to aim just at a blank wall.
This is no, Kevin. This is in the middle of the day show. A lot of people are at work and they're listening. And Kay only does one full big show. But there's a lot. I'm okay. I can contact somebody right away if I need a mod. Carol's listening, I think. But we're all right. But this is the middle of the day show. A lot of people are at work.
Just like shoot, 5 times at a blank wall, just on the drop of the flag. Just wait for the director to say, okay, you know what you got to do? Action. Bang, 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 and all that crap. And people in the thing must have been aware that this was going to happen because there was no general movement. There was no reaction. I've seen a lot quicker reactions, and fear and panic in movies. When this sort of thing happens, in a movie when the president, was attempted assassination. The moment the shot's fired, then people all over the place are just running rampant, trying to get away from it. But there was no there wasn't any of that at all. It was just I don't know. I didn't react to it the moment it happened. So I just written off on stage.
Do you have a question? Do you have a question for Mel?
No.
Could I make a statement?
No, we have somebody up next, and then that'll be it because Mel will have to be leaving. Hold on a minute, please. Yep, we just lost Mel. Hold on. We'll give her another minute or so and see if she comes back. Terra Warrior, your camera is on, just to let you know, so we're not seeing anything we shouldn't be seeing. You have to turn that off.
You talking to me?
Terra Warrior, can you hear me? Thank you.
I'll fast forward it. Well, it's almost over.
Go back. So the orbs that we're seeing now are some of them ones that were stored. You got to remember the technology was
We're about
probably
15 minutes left.
outsmarted by all of us and outdated at the same time. So the orbs that some of the orbs that people are actually seeing, as I said, do come from federations of planets, and some are actually being reactivated by those who have come back onto this earth to be able to operate them, because they are very, very complex, and our complexity of our 3D or our world is not going to cope, so to speak, with the operations of those orbs. But they're coming from all different places and different areas, and we're seeing new ones appear. Boy, we've seen the most amount of what we call UFO sightings that we've ever seen. So, so for me, I'm pretty excited to actually see them. That's the exciting part, is the fact that they are there, they are real, and we are seeing them. So, yeah, happy days.
Thank you. I know there's big orbs in the sky, but what about the small orbs that we see in front of us?
Oh, those orbs. Oh, honey. Fairly, you just have to take yourself off video, darling, please. Thank you. So the orbs that you see in front of you, these are from frequencies as well. So it's like you can start to see the aurora around your own hand and things like that as well. So the orbs in front of you, these are all brought down by frequencies. People have different opinions on where these frequencies actually appear, and some people are still holding on to the satanic side of it as well. They go, oh no, that can't be real, oh no, that's bad. But the orbs that you see in front of you, as I said, appearing because of our frequencies and that as well. So yeah, there's many different layers to that, many different layers. But yeah, we are seeing orbs in front of us. And
thank you, Mel. Thank you so much.
That's all right, darling. My pleasure, sweetheart. We could just about do a whole show together, you and I, on those kind of things. It's a different show altogether. The beautiful Jimmy's in the house as well, sending you much prayer and healing to the Jimmy and all of those who need assistance. I was actually looking at a beautiful book on herbs and things like that as well, and how that is helping the world. We still need to continue to help ourselves whilst we wait for the med beds and what have you. So, yeah, so again, all my thoughts and prayers to go out to everyone out there who is still suffering in this world and waiting for those illustrious med beds. So, but other than that, so...
Hey, Mel, it's Fairly. Can I ask a question?
You certainly can.
Oh, thank you. And I noticed my wonderful learned friend Alison has joined, and she may want to add to my question, because her and I have lots of questions. What
as you do.
As you do. And as you know, I've got a bit of mainstream training in there, so you sometimes need to just reverse my train of thinking and put me back on the right path. We were talking about when the NESARA Act was executed, and that it was done, I believe, was it the 9th of March 2000 by Bill Clinton under threat of disposal, for want of a better word, under gunpoint, from what I understand. So my question on that is, if the execution was done by the president under a form of duress or coercion,
okay, we got 10
how
minutes,
can it become
guys.
a binding
10 more
law?
minutes.
Wouldn't it be able to be reversed
We
due to the
almost did it.
circumstance of the execution of the NESARA Act?
Yes, very true. But the NESARA Act was inverted long before that. It was 2014, I think it was, 2015. It was actually enacted. Then it was, the reason we get these stories of him being under duress is that it should have been implemented by that point in time, just as, of course, the 9/11 events and all the theories behind that. But NESARA was actually enacted in 2014. So the stories that we believe to have been, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but again, it was already enacted long before that. It was 2014. So, yeah.
Okay.
So again,
Thanks.
the filtrations of the stories that were added on to added on and added on. It's the same with 9/11. We had this roundtable discussion about this just recently, and people still believe it was a demolition. But when you hear further about the demolition of even 9/11, it was not a demolition, nor was it planes. It was direct energy weapons. And it's the same with the stories that come out about Bush and things like that as well. Yeah, again, like I said, there's a lot more to those enacts and acting and acts. They were all done pre-2015 in the timeline of when the actual Q posts were actually put on the board, so to speak. So NESARA was actually enacted in 2014. So that story was a bit different of a story. It was, they deemed it to be around NESARA, but that was also when he was introduced, I guess, to the grey aliens, so to speak. So there's many different stories that go about with that as well. So many different theories. I don't know if we'll ever know the full truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God. But yeah, but my understanding is that, but very good question, Bailey. You always push me to the limits. That's really good. Enjoy that. So
Thanks,
it's a discussion
Mel.
inside a discussion. It's a discussion inside a discussion. So yeah, but and of course that was done by a lady by the name of Shanani Goodwin, and yeah, so that's another interesting, fun story as well. So I believe she was possibly even poisoned or executed due to the fact that that act was being enacted. So that's another story as well. So many things to talk about. It's amazing. It's an amazing world that we live in. So.
Yeah. And can I just ask, Alison, did you have any other questions for Mel to add just based on our discussion of about 5 minutes ago?
No, I'm fine. Hi, Mel.
How are you?
Oh,
very
I'm
well.
I'm well. You landed okay in the US?
I am landed and I am safe and I am sound and yeah, so my ears are still ringing, to be quite honest. So it's quite a journey, very fast journey to say the least. So, but yes.
Well, we'll look forward to your updates over the next week or so, little while.
Yeah, I think I've have you this afternoon. I think I have all of that group this afternoon. So looking forward to that.
Right.
So excellent.
Well, good.
So
okay. Can I say something?
Thank you. Yes, Vic. Yes, Vicky.
Hi. I just was that man that was talking about Dave XRP line and buying out the XRP. I had listened to him 2 times over the last few months, and he said when they asked you to buy them out there, it's not worth less than $1 million. He said if they ask you if you want to buy out, if you want to sell your XRP, and they said you're supposed to go to a computer and put your price in because they won't offer it to you, and he said it was supposed to be you should ask $1 million for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Vicky. Yeah. Look, I have actually, as I said, did my calculations on the amount of times that token has been utilised, and I don't even think $1 million's going to cut it, to be quite honest. That's my honest opinion. But yes, I get what you're saying. But yeah, definitely it is
Yes, Mel, that's
a very open discussion when it comes to how much is it worth. As I said, is it worth more than one? I think it probably is.
It is, Mel, and
yeah,
Dave.
so we'll
Dave
wait and
actually,
see. Yes, Mark.
Dave did that evaluation a year ago. But he did say it was $1 million. But
we could just about do a whole seminar on the XRP and the buyback system. So very interesting subject, to say the least.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
But look, I get where the intention is of being $1 million, but as I said, for me personally, and it's not financial advice, I'd be holding on, because if they are prepared to pay me $1 million for each XRP token, it must be worth much more than that. So I won't be letting it go anytime soon. That is for certain. That is just my opinion. But in saying that, we say a big, big thank you to...
Okay, we did it, you guys. Wow. That was the longest video so far this year. Oh. I'll probably go till 3:30. I'll do a lot of short ones for the next half hour. Then I'll come back at 7. We did have intel before we started that video, so everybody start from the beginning. Okay. We'll see how much I can get down here. Almost done, buddy, for the show. I'm going to play this one first. Here's a photo. Anybody can say something on this photo shot. Anybody see that one yet? Anyone comment on that?
Press secretary said.
To rumble, is he not? He is ready to rumble. I will tell you, this speech tonight will be classic Donald J. Trump. It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room. So
Now with this.
I want to just quickly tell you, I was sitting next to Caroline Levitt, the press secretary's husband. He was one of our guests. He was seated right next to me, and right as the dinner was starting, the national anthem happened, and then he kind of leaned over and said, I watched you on TV, you do a great job. You need to be very safe. And he was just very serious when he said that to me. And he kind of looked around the room and he said, there are some...
sounds like we lost Aisha's phone there.
They didn't lose the call. They cut it because it was obviously planned. Also, the shooter, Cole
This is a good one, huh, you guys?
is in an Instagram post wearing an IDF sweatshirt. Not only that, in Israel, his name was searched on the 23rd, almost 60 times. If you search his name on X, this account pops up with his name. The only thing that they posted, and this was made in 2023, the same account, Henry Martinez, published at NASA in 2014, the very same year that Cole Allen, the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooter, interned there, right there, on NASA's website. And then Trump posted on Truth Social saying, let the show go on. Making it more obvious this is as fake as a wrestling match. To think, why was this done? The motive.
A particularly secure building, and
I didn't want to say this, but this is why we have to have all of the attributes of what we're planning at the White House. It's actually a larger room, and it's much more secure. It's drone-proof, it's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why the military are demanding it. They've wanted the ballroom.
Was done to get the ballroom. Even one of the guests there said it started the second we got there. Every event we've ever been to, especially at this level, there were layers of security, bags checked, IDs checked, actual process. This time, nothing. We were just asked if we had tickets, said yes, and got waved through. No bag check, no real screening, no line, just thousands of people packed together being pushed through the doors as fast as possible. So you're telling me that a dinner that the president is going to, they're not even checking bags? No layers of security? Nah, that was done on purpose. This stinks of a false flag event.
That was a good one, I think.
Talk about why I think Ghislaine Maxwell could be the mastermind architect behind it all. I spent my career at CIA and NSA. I also advised other intelligence agencies. I now have my own corporate intelligence firm. All of these opinions are my own. All right. Start with Ghislaine Maxwell's upbringing. We've talked about her dad. If you haven't seen it, go to a few videos back in my Epstein Files series. Very politically connected and dies in 1991 off the Canary Islands, falls off his boat. They don't know if it's murder, suicide, etc. In the books to his media company, fined $500 million in fraud, and Ghislaine is forced to move out of London. She gets an $80,000 salary and moves to New York City. Within a year, she meets Jeffrey Epstein, and then they start the shit show that becomes what we know today. So she has the political connection, charm. She is the one that in the files people claim as the most charming. Epstein is not very outgoing and extroverted. Another interesting part is that they don't sleep in the same room. According to the victims, they weren't like boyfriend, girlfriend, but she was with him all the time and lived with him. And I find that interesting. The other piece is that every single victim says that she was there. She wasn't only there, she's recruiting, she's grooming, she's normalizing everything that's happening. And she took part in it. When they referred to the boss in the Epstein Files documents that were released like 2 weeks ago, I've been going back and forth whether it's her or EB, who we've talked about. But anyway, so she's part of it all. There were no victims that have come out prior to Ghislaine that I know of. So part of me is like, was he born a monster, or did she take his corkscrew, his weakness, found out that he was into this, and that's what she used to then do what she needed to do. So he was actually the mark. A lot of her personality traits and characteristics align very much so with someone who's very strategic, Machiavellian, operative, in my opinion. So Epstein goes to prison and dies shortly thereafter. As we've talked about, sacrificed for the network, I think. But the network didn't die. People still worked there, like for another year until she was arrested. The network didn't die. Everything was dismantled after her arrest. They also found her on a 150-acre farm in New Hampshire, paid for in cash through an anonymous LLC. Like that's where she was hiding, changing phones all the time. Like this is very strategic behavior. Then she was caught in 2020, put in prison. Then everything started to dismantle. The Attorney General apparently gives up 100 people, which I don't buy. Is now in a yoga prison in Texas with a puppy, rumored. I think that's true. Someone tell me if it's not. There's also been rumors about her being pardoned. Because think about it, it's the perfect story for her. Women, this is why we're so powerful in this kind of position. Because we can come off as naive and innocent and dumb. People believe it. You're calculated and strategic and very smart. You can use that to your advantage to patriot. Welcome to part.
Hey, the first one with our TikTok lady.
for six weeks. And the hill that they were dying on was Affordable Care Act. And it was all anyone could talk about. And everyone was fear-mongered into believing that they were going to lose all of their benefits and things were going to skyrocket. And then when you actually looked at the data, I don't know if you guys followed me during that time, but it showed like less than 1% of the actual population was impacted by what they were talking about with the premiums. And then they stopped talking about it. It came and went. January 1st came, everyone's premiums went up. But in this last CR and budget debate, not a word about Affordable Care Act. It was ICE. Don't you think that's weird? They literally wouldn't shut up about it. And now they haven't said a word about it. Did I miss something? 2, the SAVE Act. Someone please tell me why this just isn't common sense and a law. I have to show an ID to buy 2 Sudafed or Sudafed in general to use my credit card, but not to go vote. Are you fucking serious? 86% of Americans support the SAVE Act. Say, yeah, you need to show your ID to vote. 86%. I think that's one of the only things that we agree on in America right now is that, yeah, showing an ID to vote is good. So tell me why the Democrats are like, no, we have a problem with this. Could it be because they let millions of illegals over the border in order to boost their numbers and allowed them to commit fraud and take our tax dollars? And so now they're like, wait, I was kind of banking on those votes. I can't win the election on my own. It's giving loser. Because you can't tell me that Americans want it, but the people that represent you, us, don't. Make it make sense. If you are not for the SAVE Act, I really would like to hear why. And please, someone tell me why you think the Democrats do not want this. I have to know if they do. Remember when the Democrats...
Okay, the first 2 on her. I'm going to finish off with the 8-minute Benny video that just came out. Did you guys hear the breaking news? Somebody just got indicted again. And I'll be back at 7.
Fauci's henchmen are being indicted by the SPLC was just exposed by the feds for being a hate crime hoaxer group, and now James Comey is indicted.
Okay.
You just can't get better than this. James Comey indicted again by the federal government, and you hate to brag here, but 2 weeks ago we predicted this was about to happen. This is why you tune in, ladies and gentlemen. John Solomon reveals that John Brennan and James Comey indictments will be coming very soon. Precisely 1 week ago on the program, and we were right. James Comey indicted for the second time. CNN reported it first. 2 sources familiar. Report broke in March that Comey had received a subpoena as part of a grand conspiracy probe by the DOJ. Comey was able to wiggle his way out of charges, lying to Congress, but those charges aren't dead either. What is he being charged for? Fox News here with the report.
They're going at it again, not even a year after they went at it after the first time. We're told this via several law enforcement sources. We're told this is related to an Instagram post from the former FBI director last year. When he posted on the beach, you may remember there was a formation of shells that said 8647 that were in that pairing of 8647, and he said something along the lines of, isn't this a curious formation that I just found while walking on the beach? Well, critics to that post immediately
after him for the
pointed
Instagram
out that
post.
86, at least in the restaurant world, means to get rid of or to kill something from a menu. 47 meaning the 47th president of the United States. So Comey did speak with the Secret Service, did speak with federal investigators. At the time he was interviewed last spring or early last summer, shortly after that happened, no charges were ever filed. But now it appears that he has been indicted today. We're working to learn more about the indictment. We're waiting to see if officials have anything to say on this. That is the post that you see right there. Cool shell formation on my beach.
Oh, man. Start getting him for the shells. This is the literal personification. This is the human living, this is in human form, FAFO in human form. This is FAFO come to life. It's unbelievable. James Comey in legal trouble again over the 8647 shell art. Goodness gracious. Okay, so what's going on here? Yeah, according to Fox News, this is in relation to the 8647 seashell. He did an interview with the Secret Service. Perhaps he lied during that interview. If you lie to the Secret Service, you lie to federal agents. If they are able to prove that, then they can charge James Comey with lying to the feds. I'm not sure that, I'm not sure just the post itself would be criminal, but I guess we don't know. This hasn't been revealed yet. Let's go to Jonathan Turley. Jonathan Turley, report has reportedly been indicted, James Comey. For a second time last September, he was charged with lying to Congress over leaks to the press. The case was dismissed by a federal judge who found the interim U.S. attorney, Virginia, had been improperly appointed. Late last year, federal indictment was dismissed over the challenged status of the U.S. attorney. There has been suggestion that early reporting that Comey might be charged for his image of shells spelling 8647, which means effectively to kill Trump in slang. That would be a tough case given the First Amendment statements. If it had any lethal meaning, still protected speech, I guess we'll see. I mean, nobody really knows at this point. Nobody knows what the charges are. But if he's been indicted, then that means that a jury found the evidence clear that he did something wrong or, isn't innocent, right? It is actually really hard to get an indictment over the line. Where is he being indicted? In what state is he being indicted? James Comey's been indicted for the second time. No more strolls and shells on the beach. Take that, bitch. It's amazing how fast the DOJ is moving without AG Pam Bondi in office. Another Comey indictment. This one's particularly interesting given recent events, threats on the president's life. Just a reminder, cool shell formation on my beach one. Cool shells. You're an angsty teenage girl who posts.
It takes 90 seconds for this NASA-engineered AC cool down your room. It's smaller than a toaster, cools any room in 90 seconds.
Like this on Instagram. Again, the living personification of F around, find out. Everybody knows what 86 means. Anybody who's worked in the restaurant industry. The FBI is weighing a perp walk for James Comey. They weren't able to get it done last year. Let's see if under new leadership from the DOJ, they're able to get it done this year. James Comey, by the way, was so blatant, so blunt in his, so aggrandizing, so bold that he bragged about the traps that he set for the first Trump administration. He bragged about how he was able to set up General Flynn and trick the Trump administration because they weren't in office long enough. They didn't have enough lawyers. They weren't smart enough. So he was able to set up a trap. He was able to entrap General Flynn. Listen to this.
FBI agents ending up in the sit room. How did that happen?
I sent them. Something I probably wouldn't have done or maybe gotten away with in a more organized investigation, a more organized administration, in the George W. Bush administration, for example, or the Obama administration. In both of those administrations, there was process. And so if the FBI wanted to send agents into the White House itself to interview a senior official, you would work through the White House counsel, and there'd be discussions and approvals and who would be there. And I thought it's early enough. Let's just send a couple guys over.
You look at this White
Way to admit your crimes. I think that's exactly what they did with Comey this time. I think they actually set a trap for him. And they asked him about this post, and they were able to do an interview with him. They dragged him into DHS. They did an interview. They sat him down. Maybe they have his DNA on the shells. He denied ever putting the shells together. Maybe they have his DNA on the shells. And if you lie to a federal officer, you sworn, you're under oath, then that is a crime. So they caught him. They got him in a trap. And it's a trap that he had previously bragged about doing to General Flynn. Ooh. Oh, man. This is just poetic. It's Shakespearean, actually. It is poetic. So we'll see what happens. We don't have the charges just yet, but big breaking news.
There you go, you guys. Big breaking news. So that's going to wrap things up for the first show. And that was a big show. Biggest video of the year. Yeah, we got there's a lot of people was listening because they're at work. So, not many in chat. We'll hopefully get everybody in for the second show tonight at 7. So have a good dinner tonight for our Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. And Carol was the only one that came in. Thanks, Carol. And then God bless everybody. Love all. Remember, please hit the like. Stay safe, stay strong, keep the faith, never give up. And signing off for this afternoon, Chico and Dude for the first show. And much more tonight, you guys. We'll see you tonight.